Hello, wonderful ULARP watchers, and welcome back to the Super Mega Happy Fun Time Thursday. Adam's been working from home in his pants today stream.
Yay!
There's no point when you be standing up.
I made the mistake of telling one of my work colleagues I was working from home in my pants, and then we had a meeting, and I just put my shirt on top side, and she was like typing in chat to me during this meeting, Adam, you're getting thirsty, you want to go get a drink? And I was like, nope, no I don't. I don't want to do that at all. Thanks, but no thanks. A slightly different game today for those who were watching last time. So I've managed to talk the party into splitting the party. So we've got the joys that are Hunter, Constance, Red and Bronwyn going for a little romp up a mountain to go take care of a very naughty vampire. And Elian and Jakul will be playing tomorrow and being the diplomatic corps.
Shopping.
Shopping. Trying to...
They're shopping and we're going hiking.
Yeah, pretty much. News and updates. I've not really done anything on the new campaign this week, I'm afraid. Work has been all of the work. I'm hoping to do some work on it this weekend. And then we'll look at getting the wiki made, so we'll see how that goes. A couple of people have asked on YouTube to have contact details for either Twitter or Instagram for the players, so we might look at doing that somehow.
Yeah.
Like in chat underneath something, I don't know. That would be nice. Or maybe we could do it on the Discord as well.
Yep.
Have each character could have their own. I really thought about it much. I'm just amazed that people tune in to watch us and message me and are like, I really enjoyed that game. I'm like,
We have a ULARP Twitter account as well, so we can link through that.
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah.
awesome. Right, let's get this underway. Sunrise in Valaki. That's if you can call it sunrise. The mist and light early rain fills the surrounding area. To the north, you can just pick out the far lake. I've only been there once really, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. A very small girl was trying to be drowned. Managed to rescue her. But now you're on a mission to go around the lake and to the north. You're not too sure on the exact location. But Red felt a desire, a call of help, of aid that she could not turn down. Now on recently purchased horses at an incredibly high cost, mainly to Red, you ride. You're just about to leave Valaki. Is there anything anyone wanted to do before you do that?
Nope.
Nope.
I don't think so.
We did
We've
a
got
lot at the end
surgicals.
last
I was
time. Yeah.
about to say, should we buy some healing potions? Then I remember this party's poor.
You head east, out through the east gate. This side of Valaki doesn't look like it's been attacked much, and it was your first sight. As you make your way out of the gate, the guards, nods of respect, small salutes. Some of them you recognise served Baron Vargas before you managed to break the curses and magic affecting him. Others look fresh, young, inexperienced, used ill-equipped. You see a lot of them are in reasonably nice equipment now. Some of the more experienced guards, you can definitely see they've got silver-tipped spears, silvered crossbows. The armour looks better than it has when you first arrived, for sure. You start making your way out. East gate. What sort of a pace are you setting?
Brisk.
Yeah. Pushing the horses?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a leisurely stroll.
For some of you, this is the first time you've had horses since you've been... Since you've been Hunter. since you've been in Barovia. They're quite well-trained, large horses.
Has Rad ever ridden a horse? I know she's been a horse.
She's been a horse. She's been ridden as a horse. No, she's mainly clung on the back of wolves, which is a bit different. She knows how to at least grip on. She's never been in a saddle or held reins before.
He seems quite steady on his feet, eating the ground up along the road. But all of you would be aware that the terrain is going to become a lot more dangerous, a lot steeper very quickly. In the distance, as the sun truly rises in the sky, the mist begins to part just slightly, but not enough to really see the full sun. You can see standing on the side of the mountain the tower of Ravenloft. Might feel odd to be going that way, but all of you would be aware you're just going to follow it round, so you can go to the north around the large Lake Zarovich. Towards the north, the Mount Baratok. On the path, you set a good pace and you move quite quickly. Although you're tired, it's only been one full night for you, where you've only had a short rest. Is anyone trying to rest in the saddle, or are you all actively looking out and doing things, or are you... It's up to you.
Hunter's probably got his ears out, like looking around.
What sort of formation are you going in? Who's leading?
There is a method by which we can rest on horseback. Bronwyn would be quite tempted to do that, just because she needs a lot less rest than other people, because then she can be fully charged and able to do whatever from the front, but she just needs the respite first, which she didn't get last night.
So do you want someone to try and guide your horse?
If that's how it works mechanically, I think it would make sense.
Do it roleplay, however you want to do it. If she wants to try and rest on a horse,
Yeah, I guess she'd like... I think she'd probably see Constance as the most horseman-worthy. Besides herself, seeing as Red's never done it and Hunter's probably never done it as Hunter.
And these horses are probably far easier to ride than Hadram is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So she'd, I guess, like try and tether like her horse to Constance's and trust Constance with the guiding and go into her like elven trance.
Yeah, that's cool. If we're riding abreast, yeah.
And then who's at the front?
Hunter will.
And who's at the back?
Rob.
Constance and Bronwyn?
Oh, no, they're getting it, yeah.
Yeah.
Red will probably be in the middle then.
Cool, happy with that. So Hunter's on lookout. Constance is probably making sure nothing happens to Bronwyn.
Yeah.
And Red, what do you want to be doing?
Probably won't be able to read in the saddle. It's probably hard, isn't it?
Be tricks, for sure.
At least in this first bit.
She would like to try and read.
Okay. Yeah, so it's only really Hunter on lookout. Hunter, do you want to give me a perception? Just give me one roll for this first leg of the journey.
So many things.
25.
Yeah.
I have advantage if you want hearing or smell.
No, sight at the moment.
It is a smell-based perception check.
Here I am on my horse.
There are horses around.
As you make your way east along Old Svalek Road, heading towards the hilly terrain, before you kind of veer south and then back round to get to the Ravenloft, you're sure that you see a cart moving quickly down the road from Ravenloft. Doesn't seem to be coming towards you, though.
Isn't coming towards us.
No, down the other way towards the village of Barovia and Sarpool that way. So south. See it going along that sort of mountain trail at a good distance.
If it isn't coming towards us, I don't think a hunter wouldn't really care. He's paying attention to what's around, basically.
Cool. The horses eat up the terrain in front of you. On the road, it's easy going for them, and they seem well trained and versed in this. Bronwyn, can you give me a concentration check? So that's Constitution, please.
Constitution. Why can I not say it? There it is.
So lucky.
Oh, I have my point of inspiration. It seems early in the day to use it. No,
I mean, you can do if you want.
I am going to need it for something bigger, I can tell. No, it's a 5.
You're having a hard time resting.
Yeah.
You're struggling to focus. You make it to a point red where you want to leave the road and then kind of skirt Lake Zarovich and start heading north through the kind of wetland forest. So then you can start going north towards Mount Baratok. The terrain changes quite quickly. It's a type of forest you've not really been in before since you've been in Barovia. Very wet, soggy, swamp-like forest. That kind of peaty, wet, wooden smell is everywhere. The horses veer and shy away from certain areas. In certain points, as you kind of skirt the edge of the lake, you do find they're walking in about foot-deep water. At times where it's hard to walk along sort of mountain edge. As you travel, are you just sort of travelling in silence? Are you talking? Is it, we're on a mission, this is a job done, everyone focused? Red's trying to focus on her book.
Trying to sleep, yeah.
Bronwyn trying to sleep, so it's only really Hunter and Constance. You just focusing on the job at hand.
Yeah, I think trying not to expend unnecessary energy.
Yeah.
Hunter's just getting his memory and just trying to take everything in, like from the way back to make it quicker because of his wanderer feature. He's just
nice, cool, yeah. So you're
paying attention to absolutely everything around him and kind of trying to get into his mind of what's about to happen.
Nice. You continue to skirt this wood in almost silence, everyone in their own thoughts, own study. You can look out across the lake. It's deadly still. Not really so much as a ripple in it. For a second, it looks quite picturesque. The mist just almost coming down and rolling over the surface. See a couple of small boats out on the water. Fishermen, you'd presume, but you can't tell at this range. See an estuary where one of the rivers from the mountains comes down to meet it. And as you look to the north, above the forest that you're about to enter and the woodlands, you can see the looming threat that is Mount Baratok. It's a series of mountains, large. You can't see the peaks of them as they travel into the mists of the skies of Barovia. Continuing north. Through the forest and the woodlands, it now becomes quite claustrophobic. The wood closes in over the top of you, and Constance, you have to find yourself dodging and diving, moving your head down, weaving the horse through this trail. This doesn't look like anyone's travelled this for a long time. Hunter, you'd definitely be aware of that. You're not following a track or a trail. It's deadly quiet now. The only sound is the squelch of your horse's hoofs as they stamp through wet mud. You start making your way.
When we've been generally traveling through Barovia, particularly like in the more kind of forested areas.
Yeah.
How much have we heard of like wildlife?
Very little. Some wolves.
Yeah.
Some movement.
Yeah.
Like a breeze, an unnatural creak of trees and things like that.
Mm.
But this is freakishly quiet.
Yeah.
As you get accustomed to the complete lack of noise, you can hear your own heartbeat. Feel everything as your senses get pushed to 11. The sway of the horse's body underneath yours. Almost the thumping of your pulse in your ears. So there's just silence. Hunter, you've seen no tracks of anyone being here ever. Not for as long as these tracks would show. You start to veer north more, heading away from the lake, away from the rivers, moving deeper into the forest. The land begins to dry out somewhat. Pushing up, cutting through the forest, weaving between it, with Hunter leading the way expertly, no one else being forced to pay too much attention. Seems a trained outdoorsman, for instance. He's definitely cut a good path for you to get here. Hunter, just give me a survival and we'll see how good it is.
16.
Yeah, he's definitely cut a good path through. Before long, you enter a clearing. Almost like a waterfall of mist coming down sheer faces of rock near you. Kind of frozen gravel like to it. You're having to sort of swerve and go round it to pick out the best way, Hunter. Can you give me a concentration red and a concentration Bronwyn? See how you're doing.
What would concentration be?
Constitution.
Oh, constitution saving throw.
Oh, is it a saving throw or just a check?
No, concentration check.
Check,
Oh, just a check. All right.
19 this time.
All right.
But I think yours is still going to be 14, so I still think you're +2.
Yeah, I think so. So that's fine. Yeah, Reg, you're doing a pretty good job reading your book, and Bronwyn, you've done pretty well resting. So, Reg, you can probably mark off 4 hours reading.
Oh,
Nice.
If I had 4 hours of
I'm
resting.
over halfway in now.
You would have if you got the first roll well.
Okay. She'll keep resting then.
So nearly. The terrain's become a lot trickier now, Hunter. You've got a kind of a choice as you take a moment to pick your way through a longer route, which you would assume will kind of eventually lead round and make its way north, or a more direct route going up a steep incline. You're at a kind of 50-50 with this from your roll of 16. You think they're both going to get you there, but the incline one will probably be shorter, but it is a trickier route for the horses.
He doesn't know anything about horses, whether if they could take the climb or not.
Sure. They do seem quite hardy. They're quite big.
There's 2 paths up ahead. We either take a quick route and he will point up, or we can go around.
Can I do an animal handling roll to see if
Yeah. No. You've been on this horse for a while. If you want to name it, you can do.
13.
You think you could do it. But this is not a route. You would need to be a rider. You couldn't just sit idly by.
It'll require us all to pay attention and work the horses quite hard if we go that way.
Look at
We'll try to telepathically communicate with the horse she's on and ask if it thinks it can get up that path.
No.
Nay.
He will say, for a reward, climb any mountain.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
But there better be something tasty.
Cracking.
You're on the
For sure.
chunkiest of the 4 horses for sure.
Nice. Yeah, Red will look up and say, this horse could go up the quicker path, but I agree with Constance, we'll need to focus.
looking at the elf. The elf is still in its trance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which way do you reckon then, Red or Constance? I'm not a rider. I prefer to run.
Let's go the long way.
We've made good progress so far,
Fine.
so
Yeah,
I
just-
think the longer way, and that way we know that the horses are not going to be dead on their feet by the time we get there.
He'd nod and just kind of angle his self and the horse to the easier route, the longer route, with not much else to say.
Yep. Pick the pace up again. Red, your horse seems disappointed.
She will still fish into her bag, and I believe there are still some nice, tasty mushrooms in her bag,
Yeah, he's all over it.
which she will lean over, like literally, like scrambling up this horse's neck, leaning over and giving to him, because there's
Yeah,
nothing she
he's-
likes worse than a disappointed horse.
He's loving it. He's loving it. You make your way round. Eventually, you see a looking to head north as soon as you can, Hunter, following the forest line round, and then there's a slightly about an hour. So give me one more Constitution check, please. Bronwyn only. Concentration, if you've got any bonuses to it.
12.
Yeah, we'll say that you've managed to take a long rest.
Is that a saving
Cool.
throw or is that just a?
That's
roll?
just a check.
Check.
Yeah, it's a check.
Yeah. No, I don't have any special con bonuses.
Yeah, it'll take you a little bit longer, but then you'll be back in.
Cool.
So you find the route through the forest. As you do, you can see the forest opens up. There's various dips and valleys within it. It's not constantly rising. And from here, Hunter, you're able to take the lay of the land for a second, trying to work the best route you can towards Mount Baratok. Across the sort of top of the tree line, or raised position slightly, you can see a winding path slowly making its way up the mountain where it becomes steeper.
I'll point it out to everyone, since everybody seems to be now paying attention.
Yeah, but then you're going to have to kind of drop back down into the woodlands and then try and make your way across to it.
Yeah, he'd definitely be able to recall, I reckon.
Yeah. As you do, you make your way down into the woods. Stillness. Silence. Some of you might find it slightly unnerving. Some of you may be at home in silence. Constance, this is a world apart from the busy city you've spent most of your life. And red, there's an eeriness to it. And same for you, Bronwyn.
Yeah.
Just that lack of nature here.
Yeah. Wooden shouldn't be silent.
Give me a survival check, Hunter.
14.
Yeah, again, you pick a pretty good power through. Probably not quite as good as last time. Constance, you're having to duck under slightly more branches and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you've not heard anything or anyone for quite a time. As you continue your way north for another hour through this dense forest, a few times getting caught by trees and their gnarled, long branches, long dead, but somehow the tree still stands. The terrain has dried out now as you're rising up higher and higher. And something breaks the silence. The call of a raven sits on a lone tree, opens its mouth, its impossibly loud caw comes out. For some of you, it feels like you've not heard anything. As it breaks you out of this kind of meditation, Bronwyn, out of where your minds were all racing to, back to the present. The coldness sets in almost instantly, the dampness being higher up. The mist seems thicker. The lone raven stands on a tree, staring at you, as once again makes this caw sound.
Is that one of Elian's? Do we think?
Can anyone speak to it? Can it speak to us? I'm not really sure how the whole were-raven thing works.
The only raven I remember is Eric. Or one called Eric.
I could cast speak to animals, but I feel it's a bit of a waste of a... Is it even an animal if it's a were-raven?
Hello?
So it just kind of flutters its feathers a little bit and stretches them out, and its head turns a bizarre angle to stare at you.
He reaches into his backpack. He pulls out just some random bits of bread and just kind of offers it out to the raven.
Yeah. As you get close, he kind of hops up at first to a higher branch, and as you bring food out, he'll hop back down and eyeball you, and his head again turns to this slightly unnatural angle. Eyes the food and then jumps down to an even lower branch so he can get to it.
Hold it there. Just let him take it.
Yum, 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 yum.
Just a bird.
What you've been trying to do in lockdown.
Yeah. Just a bird.
The friend or the crows.
As he then just kind of moves the horse, continuing on the path.
As you continue, you can see where one moment ago you were in dense forest, which didn't seem to have an end. As you come up a very slight hill, there's a plateau there. You can see the mountain pass in the distance, heading up now this very steep mountain. And stood either side of the mountain pass are two 20-foot tall gargoyles. Statues standing perfectly still. Your eyes look at them. You can see that they don't just have two arms, but their grotesque heads, almost grinning. They're beautifully, beautifully carved.
anyone else suspicious that they might try and eat us?
Yeah,
So they
a
kind
little
of stand. You've got the path almost goes between them, and they are stood either side. One is looking towards you. The other is looking up at him.
They're statues.
I'd wonder why they'd been placed out in the wilderness like this.
This is clearly an old path.
Are we sort of like on the edge of the woodland now?
Indeed.
Yeah. Bronwyn would like to like touch one of the trees at the edge of the forest and do speak with plants
Ah,
to
Okay.
basically find out whether
get them to
these
explain.
statues do anything. Yeah.
Explain this.
Yep. As you invoke the spell, what do you say?
She'll basically just ask, as much as you can speak to a plant, kind of what it's seen. You know,
Ask away. In character, ask what you want to ask this guy.
Is this path safe for us to travel?
No path in Barovia is safe to travel.
It's going to be one of those plants.
One of those.
Are these statues a danger to us?
Hannah's just looking absolutely puzzled. As
She's talking to a tree.
and you didn't want to talk to a bird.
Talking to the tree now.
So what was the exact question? Sorry.
Are these statues a danger to us? I think is what I said.
Only if you approach.
What will they do if we approach?
2 questions I have answered now. What do you offer for a third?
Blackmailed by a plant.
By a tree.
Just because you can talk to it doesn't mean it's a friendly tree.
What the trees like?
Fucking Barovian trees.
Water,
Yeah.
fresh water,
Oh God.
sunlight.
It's got that already.
That's it.
It's on the edge of the. It's very much always dark. Oh, God, what would she say?
Would it like some sunlight?
Mr. Tree, would you like sunlight?
I can offer.
Pruning.
I think
I could offer to knock Danny down.
nurture. That's what she'll say. We can find a way to nurture you.
No.
Fresh water, light.
Kill me.
Oh.
End this now. Destroy my roots.
Okay. If you can tell us what we are about to face, then I will.
Once they came to fight here. Now these 2. None pass. None live.
and you don't. How are they going to stop us? Is it magic? Is it brute force? I would like to know.
Return you to the ground.
God, for God's sake.
Consume your corpse.
Fine. And there is no.
There is another.
What is the other way?
Long. Old. You must distract them.
Okay, we distract them, and then what?
To the west, a hidden path. Now end.
A hidden path to the west. How will we know this path?
End me.
I will. If you can explain how we find this hidden path.
End me.
She'll take her hand away and end the connection.
There's a dirt to your hand. A rot to it. Some of the bark of the tree comes away from touching it. Sort of black sap starts to leak from the tree where you had put your hand on. Its fragile bark is broken.
These trees are, well, this forest is unnatural. It's not healthy. There's a secret path to the west of here. But we must destroy this tree. It suffers here.
What do you tell them about the statues?
Oh, she hasn't got to that bit yet. She'll say, the statues are dangerous. They will harm us if we try and pass them. It's spoke in very vague terms, but the message was that we will not survive passing them. We can distract them and head west, and there is another path that way.
There's a tree that wants to die.
It wants to die. It wants to be ended. And she'll sort of like point at the black sap. This is no way for a tree to live.
I do not carry an axe.
It's a shame we don't have Jakul.
Yeah.
In his plant-based axe.
Constance and Hunter, you would both be very aware that this tree is sort of like on the edge. That if these things have got good vision or if they're awake, they may well see you. If you start making a
Well, Hunter will grab his rope from his bag and he will begin climbing the tree to get to a higher point of it.
It's an awkward... Branches that you think should be able to take your weight do not. They just simply crumble away on these dying trees. Red?
Could Red use the blood spear? I know it's not actually blood it's got in it, but to basically drain it of its sap. Because that is like tree blood.
What was that, sorry?
So use the blood spear to basically drain it of its sap.
Maybe, yeah, you could try.
Yeah.
I have alchemist's fire vials on me as well. But that could easily.
Wait for that tree to go.
I'm just going to pull it over. We have 4 horses here. We could tug it.
Whatever we do, and before we do it, the tree said that a distraction would be needed to move on from here. So if we do this, we need to then be ready to move very, very quickly.
That's why I think we remain on horseback and we tug it down.
That'll tire the horses and it could potentially injure them. We could remain on horseback. I could try using the blood spear. I don't know if it will work for certain. And then set the tree ablaze.
Burn it.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes, for us it's fine.
So I can try to use the blood spear.
And the longer we take, the longer we...
Once its life force has...
Oh, hang on,
ended.
sorry. Moodaran says there's no sound coming out.
Oh. For any of us, or...
I just
How about
added.
now? Is that better now? It should be now. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it quickly because we're losing the day.
Yes.
Okay.
And I doubt these things are distracted for long.
Have the alchemist fire ready then.
Yeah, she'll get the vial out of her cloak of many vials and have it
Red
ready.
will ride close to the tree and will draw back the blood spear and stab it into the tree and try and will the sap out as blood would have flowed through the spear.
Just give me some damage on the spear, please.
Yeah.
Just straight damage.
Spear, has that come through? No, it hasn't. Let me try again. That's...
Yeah, there we go.
One-handed, so that's 5 piercing damage.
So as you smash the spear into the tree, the sort of stump, the main, just kind of splits open. You just see this black, thick sap coming out, and it touches onto the spear. Doesn't seem to have killed it. Definitely seems to have done a lot of damage to it.
She could try one more stab to at least try and end its life force before they set it on fire.
Yeah.
Because that's fucking horrible.
Just give me another attack, please. Okay. And then you're planning to set it on fire?
Yeah, so Bronwyn's got her flask of alchemical fire. And she intends basically as they start to ride away to kind of like smash it into the base of the tree.
Nice. Hunter, where are you looking?
I was looking at the gargoyles, and then literally as soon as I hear the smash of vial, I will head west, like I've been told. As
you hear the sound of Red slamming the spear into the tree again, you're sure one of the statues that's looking towards you, with its large stone eyes, you're sure you see the eyes just go, just that tiny movement.
Yeah. So as Red pulls the spear back out and goes to, I'm guessing they're going to start riding away now.
Yeah.
She will very briefly put a hand on the tree, and then Sylvan will sort of thank it and wish it peace.
Nice. Yeah. Start making your way west quickly.
Yeah, Bronwyn will make sure the others are all starting to move, and then she'll be at the back and we'll smash the alchemical fire down into it. Yeah.
Which way are you moving fast?
fast and west.
Paying attention to the route or looking over your shoulders?
Paying attention
Red
to the
will
route.
look over.
Bronwyn will be looking for this secret path and just hoping that with her like tracker ranger eyes, she's gonna see something.
Okay. So you're at the front, both give me a perception.
So the ones looking at the.
Looking towards Constance, what are you doing? Just
Oh,
riding?
Keeping at the rear and keeping an eye on those
Fucking
big
10.
old,
That was a
17.
ridiculous roll.
big old gargoyles.
Red, give me a perception, please.
Yep. Rubbish. On me.
Constance, yes, please.
Yours. Perception. That's performance.
16.
16.
Nice.
Ooh.
Dice rolls.
As you're riding and you're putting the horses moving quickly, they seem eager not to be in this place, especially when the fire goes off, and start making their way west as fast as possible, skirting the edge of the woodlands. Red, you've got to pay attention to your horse, and you've got to steer it as it's trying to take you routes that you do not want to go.
Yeah.
Constance, similar. Can you give me an animal handling, please?
18.
Yours is the same, but you're skilled at controlling a horse just with your legs. And as you do, you have to look forwards just for a second, and then as you do, you look back over your shoulder, and for a second, you don't see the gargoyle. This 20-foot stone gargoyle is not longer there. As you look up, and you just see the edge of it disappearing into the mist.
Brilliant.
But only one of them.
Is the other one still in its place? Or
Yeah, there's one looking due north up the mountain, and one which was looking towards you, which is now
And that's-
just not there.
Right.
It takes a second for your brain to realise it.
Yeah.
This thing that must weigh the best part of 4 ton just is no longer there, and you're pretty sure you saw it fly into the sky.
Brilliant. I think it's airborne. We should stay undercover if we can. Keep to the trees.
Bronwyn, you see the path. At first, you almost go past it, and then at the corner of your eye, you can see the dip, and then up and around, path making its way up the mountain. Different route, hidden route.
She'll turn her horse towards it, guide it that way.
Yep. Everyone following suit?
Yep.
Yep.
Constance, you'd be aware that this would lead you away from cover.
Sure. Right. We better go then.
And everyone give me initiative, please.
Oh,
Oh no.
where's the initiative button gone there?
20.
15.
A giant four-armed
Four-armed
gargoyle.
gargoyle. We still haven't got rid of Casimir. Damn it.
Yeah, why is Casimir? Is Casimir following us?
No, he's just in this thing still. Bear with me.
He's
Oh,
my.
I forgot to click my.
He's in my heart.
Yeah,
So
I've
there he
got
is.
mine as well.
Hunter, what did you get?
20.
Red?
17.
Constance?
3.
Bronwyn?
15.
Hunter, you get the feeling that you are being followed 110%.
Okay. I kind of look around. Do I see anything following me?
Nope.
No. Okay. I just put the horse to go mode and just
Smash it.
yeah.
Give me an animal handling roll. Red.
Red doesn't know anything's there, so she's just going to keep willing the animal forward.
Yep. Give me an animal handling if you're going hell for leather. Bronwyn.
Yeah, she's been focused on looking ahead. She's just gonna keep.
Yeah, you're
keep
in the
doing
lead.
it.
Animal
Yeah.
handling, if you're just really pushing the horse. Oh, nice. Constance.
Yes. Hello.
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 You
What's
get the
going on?
distinct feeling that you're
doing?
being followed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
By a 20-foot gargoyle.
Cheese it. Cheese it, fellas.
Choose it. Give me an animal handling.
AKA the cheese it roll.
18.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you guys are moving quick. Swooping through the sky after you, Constance, you can see something that you'll probably remember for the rest of your life. 20-foot, four-armed, grotesque face snarling at you, its wings pinned back as it zooms out of the mist. You're deceptively quick for it as it has to alter its approach and then is behind you now trying to catch up with you. But it missed its like swoop attack to try and get to you. Hunter. Bronwyn's in front of you. She's moving quick, Red alongside you, and you can see Constance just behind you, over your shoulder, flapping of wings as there is this giant four-armed god.
Would you say it's within 30 foot of me?
Yeah.
I kind of focus and kind of shift up my short sword just a little bit and cut myself. I'm going to do a blood curse on this thing.
Oh.
I'm also going to use a blood maledict to increase it. I'm going to amplify it. So I'm going to take 1d8 worth of damage to myself.
Let's go on an 8, please.
I rolled an 8.
Oh.
It's okay. I have 15 temp hit points. So it's fine. 1, 2,
Oh, yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Could it please make a... it's probably going to get this, though.
Constitution?
No, it's actually a strength save.
It's not.
It's a 20-foot stone gargoyle. I'm imagining it's pretty strong.
Do you have disadvantage? Because that'd be awesome if you did.
Did someone give me disadvantage last time?
No.
I think they did. No? Oh, well, never mind. It was 13 DC, so you've definitely smashed it.
I'll let you, because I like this, it'll be fun. I'll let you use your inspiration in reverse to give me disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
We'll use it out. Yeah,
Nice.
so what happens?
I basically have done a blood curse of binding. This no more than one size larger than you. I think it's only one size larger than
It
me.
is large, yeah.
Yep. The target is speed is reduced to 0, and that curse lasts for a minute. So I've cut myself, kind of flicked my blood at it. My blood's hit it, and it basically just encases it back in and just hits the deck, and it stays there for a minute.
So we can just keep riding.
Yeah.
Did you cut yourself into pieces as a last resort?
As a last resort.
Yeah.
No breathing.
And that costs Bronwyn her inspiration as well.
This curse lasts for a minute. It can retake its... that's regardless of its size. So actually, even if it was larger than me, it'd still work. At the end of each of its turns, the cursed creature can make another strength save to get out of it.
Okay, that's cool.
So it is now... It's just dropped to the ground, though. And it is made of stone.
Yeah,
Did it
as
take any
it's...
full damage?
Oh, for sure. Give me 4d6.
Ooh.
9 points of damage. So I hurt it more than it hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that.
You hear as it slams into the ground and slides along behind you. Your horse jitters, Constance, but you're a skilled rider and get control of it. Head hell for leather and riding for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone give me another animal handling, please. And I
Wow.
shall...
13.
11.
11. Are we just going to keep going down?
It's only if it's really low that I'm super interested. Did I roll? He said 13 to get out, didn't he?
Yes, I think it was 13.
Yeah, DC 13.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm just going to the loot.
You roll for me, yeah?
I did. You got an 11, which is the same as everybody else, pretty much.
We were all very average with our animals.
We've taught Mudaran a new word, which is cheese it.
Cheese it. Cheese it, lads.
It's a good cheese it.
Is Muda an American?
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas. I want to say Texas. Is it Texas while we're waiting for Georgia Mudaran?
Sorry,
Yeah.
the laptop was about to die, so I had to dash off and grab the
No trouble.
charger.
And we need at least 4 screens in front of us, so we can't.
I've got 3.
I've got my spells on my phone.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna when I build my new PC in probably October now because I had an expensive week. Get a new battery for the car.
Yeah.
Well, it's my own fault. I hadn't moved it in like 3 months, and the battery had gone completely dead, and then wouldn't hold any kind of a charge. It, like, drove around for half an hour, turned it off, put the key back in, no lights, nothing.
There
Just
was like a
complete dead.
nationwide shortage in car batteries when lockdown started lifting because of that. So many
Really?
people, so many
Wow.
people's car batteries are just conked out.
Completely gone.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him one more save, but I think even if he saves, I think you're going to be too far gone. One second.
Oopsie.
We had an expensive week as well because we got a business loan through and ended up buying a composting toilet.
Nice. Oh, they're so cool. I went to a LARP site which had one, like one of the ones that went into a thingamajig bush.
Yeah.
Really deep one.
Cool. It's a bit of a test run because we at some point in the future we want to replace all the like site toilets with composting, but you need to get them like a massive underground tank dug up and stuff.
Yeah,
So this
and
is just a mini test for us.
the one that I went to, you had to have like one for number 1 and one for number 2.
Yeah. They've usually got a separation panel in them, and you just dig out a hole, and it sort of the wee goes in like a soak away. But yeah.
Nice. Okay, here's what's happened. As you guys cheese it on your horses, none of you moving particularly well, but none of you crap. Following Bronwyn, she's found the secret path, proper Spartan 300 style. You can see it making its way up the mountain, and you can see that it will actually join up with the other path going up the mountain.
Thanks, tree.
The gargoyle breaks free of your spell, Hunter. As you look over your shoulder, it looks like it's about to lift off again as the wings come up high and wide, as it's got a hand out towards you. And just as the wings are about to beat down, it just stops and sits steady, looking up this path.
We won't be able to come back this way. He yells loudly as he carries on.
Well, you can, you just got a bit of a crack.
We'll worry about the way back when we get to it.
Okay, the terrain's become a lot harder now. Weaving between rocks and climbing quite steeply at times. It's a couple of minutes before your secret path meets the main path going up the mountain. Do you stay on horseback? Do you go on foot? What's the plan?
Bronwyn,
What time of day is it?
It's now about 4 o'clock now, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that.
How the horse is? Actually, to be fair, I wouldn't know. So,
they're not the freshest. If you were to have to race again, they're not going to be the freshest. You'd be aware, Constance, instantly, as would Red and Bronwyn. Red's is probably the freshest because she's so light.
Little.
And it had a mushroom. Yum, yum.
Yes.
If the terrain is getting bad and the horses are on the verge of, could do with a bit of a let up, this might be a good time to take it on foot for a bit.
Yeah.
As you do.
Is what Bronwyn will say.
You dismount. The wind is howling in now across the face of the path as you walk. You look back over your shoulder. It's amazing how quickly you manage to climb. For a second, it's almost picturesque. See the woodlands beneath you, the far, far distance. You can just about see the lake. And there, to the south, you can see just the edge of Ravenloft. Then there's a hill the other side of it, so there's no direct line of sight. Continue climbing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another 10, 15 minutes as you continue pushing on. It's a steep climb. Who's taking lead?
I mean, Bronwyn was at the front, so she'd happily carry on at the front unless anyone.
What sort of pace are you setting, Bronwyn?
We all appreciate us stretching her legs. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking who else she's got with her. Probably quite a decent pace, I think. It's Elian,
I think
who's
Constance
normally...
is the slowest.
Yeah, exactly.
Armor. You can hear in the distance, and Hunter.
Red's the slowest.
Got little legs.
Almost something musical. A jingle jangle. Wind chime. Another, some hollow, you can't see it yet as you just close your eyes and focus. Some hollowed sticks, maybe, like bamboo type thing. As you come round the corner. It's not a wind chime at all, it's not sticks and wood. Hundreds, no, thousands, bones hanging from string. It's not string at all, it's hair. You look at a lot of the bones, and at first you're not sure what they belong to until you see the skulls. 50, 60 full skeletons. Hung. Not as in a full skeleton, but as a wind chime.
Yeah.
They just idly spin in the breeze, hanging from the side of cliff faces and making the noise.
Bronwyn's instant reaction would be to steady the horse in case it gets spooked.
Yeah.
By that. Yeah, so just like
seem to be.
She'd sort of gesture to those behind her in quite a military fashion to just, slow and that she's seen something.
The pace down.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No. I have not.
Are the skeletons all human?
Seems to be. As you have a little rummage, Red, you can see some long rusted armour as well. Looks like it's metallic armour similar to Constance, but long rusted. So a heavy armour fisher
Yeah. Does it seem like the kind of armor like a soldier
Yep, you
or
think so?
knight would wear? Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I think these may be the last people who've tried to come here.
I think you're right, Red.
Push on.
Yes.
Don't linger too long with the scaly bobs.
Make way round. Path veers and sways, but ultimately continues to climb. At times, the climb is incredibly steep and it's more of a scramble, and then hard work as the horse does its best to come up, but they all manage to go with you still. You're definitely grateful for dismounting and taking them by hand. Is anyone on active lookout? Are you... you reckon there's maybe like one path up and down?
Bronwyn's focus will be on the path, like following the path and finding the easiest way through.
Yeah. Hunter?
Hunter will be looking out, also looking out for any kind of signs of like other things, like things that are growing on this mountain.
Okay. Red?
Red will just be keeping a general lookout.
Constance?
I think she's still taking up the rear and just trying to be attentive to what's going on.
Nice. Can everyone then give me a perception check, please?
Rubbish.
Very rubbish.
I am going to...
Vision.
Is it vision? God damn it.
16.
9.
Sorry. As you do, you're making your
I
way
got
round
16.
and north. Can't remember who it was last week who gave me advantage.
On a trap.
On the door?
No, all trap.
Door or trap.
Are there
A
any
trap that is higher than 16. That's concerning.
As you make your way round a tight right, and as you look behind you, there's a cliff almost down. You start heading up this steep incline. You're almost in a gully. There's something not quite right, Bronwyn, but it's not quite enough to make you say something. It's right on the tip of you thinking, there's something I don't trust here, as you're looking up. Then it hits you. This isn't naturally made at all, but click. Something snaps. You hear it. You do.
Jump backwards.
Yep, who's directly behind Bronwyn?
Red, I think.
Red.
Maybe? Yeah.
Who's at the back?
Me.
Bronwyn immediately stops without saying anything, as Red, you just would walk straight into the back of her. She kind of jumps back, the horse spooks for a second. Can you give me a reflex saving throw?
Dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw, everybody.
Dexterity.
I'm using my inspiration because that was a crit fail. Oh my god, that's not that much better. Blimey. 11 with advantage. Ugh.
5.
28.
With me.
What a waste of an inspiration.
As you stop for a second, and Bronwyn, you look over your shoulder as you've kind of bumped into Red, and Red's bumped into you, a look of confusion on both of your faces, as you then both look up to the north. You can see a very large circular rock now rolling down the gully towards you at great speed.
Ah.
Can everyone give me initiative?
And
Against a rock.
I did roll a 28 on Dex.
That's your
so-
save. Yeah, so
24.
he did a backflip.
And 27 on initiative. Now, these rolls are going to be really good now, but when we get in these
Yeah.
fights, mine are going to suck.
what did you get, Hunter? Sorry.
27.
Red.
24.
Constance.
6.
Bronwyn.
9.
Highest my initiative can ever be is 19. So all you guys are 20, like over
Hunter,
20.
you're the quickest to react. You're very light on your feet as well. You can see the rock coming towards you and building up speed. What do? You're third back at the moment.
Where can I go up, or
You could do a climb to the side. It would be
is it coming
awkward for the
straight
horse.
at me, basically, and then
So
to my
you've kind of if this is the cliff,
yeah.
you've kind of gone up this way, and you originally sort of came along it and then went this way up it, and it's
Okay.
coming.
So I could just step back and let it fall off the cliff.
Yeah, if you could get back onto the side, it will just go straight down the cliff. Yeah. From taking a second to realise it, whether Red and Bronwyn are going to be able to do the same run, you're not sure. It will be tight behind them, and if it was to hit them, there's a reasonable chance it could drag them off.
Okay. What have I got?
10 seconds.
No, he will just literally. We need to
back.
move and kind of try and pull the horse back.
Yeah. More than happy to go with you. Red?
Try and get back straight away.
Yeah, there's a Constance behind you. She's not reacted as quick. You've kind of got this traffic jam situation going on.
Sorry.
I'm helping. There's a bit of confusion and kerfuffle at the back of... but yeah, you try and push past. You reckon you could make it past if you didn't have the horse?
No, I can't let the horse get in the way.
What are you going for? Just trying to pull your horse through?
Red is going to move backwards with the horse, and then is going to telepathically communicate to Constance's horse to say, "Get the hell out of the way."
Oh, like that.
Because then, if she's holding on to the horse, at least the horse will then start backing up.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. The rock is colliding towards you at breakneck speed now, Bronwyn. You don't think you are going to be able to outrun it.
Oh, God.
Bronwyn, it is your turn. It will be upon you next round.
There's nowhere she can get out the way.
You can kind of try and go up the side, but you doubt your horse will be able to do it. If you don't do an animal handling, the chances are your horse is going to rear.
She will go for climbing out the way.
The chat is parry with the pony, by the way.
Parry with the pony.
Bronwyn loves her horses, but there's no point saving the horse
Give me
and dying.
athletics, I would think, or acrobatics.
Athletics. 11. Or yeah, athletics was it?
Yep, or
Yeah.
acrobatics.
Oh, I've done athletics now.
You start climbing to the best of your ability.
Okay.
Constance, as you look up, it's very clear to you that Bronwyn is not going to be able to get out of the way of this rock in time.
Is the path that this boulder's coming down, is it like a ridge or is it just rolling down like the flat?
It's like an unnatural kind of like,
Is it
it's
like
kind
a
of
ridge
like
that's
this,
cut out
and it's
for it
coming
to roll
straight
down?
down. It kind of came from here, it went,
Yeah.
and now it's picking up pace.
Are there any like fallen trees or anything around?
Not so much up here. Some other rocks.
How big is this boulder?
I mean, with your shield, if you could get in low, you could probably roll it over the top of someone. So you could try and become a ramp for it if you were feeling particularly strong.
That's zesty.
It's about 10 foot.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. It's a big old lump, to say the least.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to push the others behind me and let go of the reins of the horse.
Grab Red.
Yeah.
And kind of chuck her behind
Just-
you.
Yeah, just shove everyone behind.
Yeah. You wouldn't probably be able to get... It would be a job for you to get to Bronwyn. She's kind of clambering up the side of the cliff face as we speak.
Like fully in the way of it.
Yeah, fully in the way. She's like... It's not the most beautiful thing you've seen in the world. She was right at the front. She rolled pretty bad on the save. Pretty bad on the climb out the way of it. And now it is going to be on her next turn.
Okay. I cast Misty Step to get as close to it as possible before it gets the full momentum up.
Yeah, you could be on it this turn if you want. You want to try and
Yeah,
shoulder
yeah,
shackle it?
Yeah.
Give me a
And I want to
strength roll.
shield bump to shove it as much as I can.
Yeah, give me a strength roll. Is it a strength or attack roll? No, strength roll, wouldn't it? It'd be brute strength, I think. I like
16?
it.
That's a save. You're on +8 because it's athletics, isn't it?
15.
Nice. I'll do a roll to see how much momentum it is picked. Just a straight D20. Oh, it's too heavy for you. Too strong. But you've taken some of the impact out of it for sure. So the others, what you would see, Constance lets go of the reins, starts moving forwards, and then just reappears as mist in front of it, shield down and puts her shoulder into it. And for a second, there's a crunch as you feel the metal and bones from Constance slam into the side of this rock, trying to kill the momentum from it. She's not shoved to her floor, but it is rolling towards her and pushing her backwards. Hunter, your turn. From your point here at the back, this is definitely going to hit Bronwyn hiding onto the side of it, not as hard as it was going to, and now Constance is like directly in the way of it. If she can't keep her feet and falls to the floor, it could be bad. The horses are rearing up. There's a lot of movement and kerfuffle, but Red is dragging hers out. The main horse, which has been the culprit, is Bronwyn's horse at the front, is just been left to its own devices.
He's just going to have to move. He won't be able to get to the rock at all, so he's just going to try and move as many, grab Constance's horse as well.
Yep.
And move,
back.
basically.
Yeah, give me an animal handling and see if they go with you easily. They're a bit spooked.
17.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, you grab both. They obey you as their alpha briefly as you drag them and you make it round the corner. Red. You've got a clear path now. You can see over your shoulder Bronwyn's horse is rearing up in the way of the boulder and is sort of turned towards you, and you can see pure panic in its eyes, and it's getting ready to bolt. Whether it's going to be quick enough to outrun it or not, you're not sure.
Red will try and grab its rein and calm it down.
You'd have to go kind of back towards it.
It's going to bolt. It's going to bolt. Oh. Yeah, she'll leave it. She'll keep backing away with her horse and trying to make Constance's horse move back as well.
Hunter's kind of grabbed Constance's horse. Easily your horse trusts you completely and will gladly follow you. You'll make it out the way as well. Yeah. Let's roll some dice. Can you give me another reflex save with disadvantage this time, please? And Constance... No, Constance, you've got normal reflex, and Bronwyn, you've got disadvantage, please.
Is that deck save, yeah?
Yes,
Dex
please.
Remember, you get +2 to that.
I've already got +2 on that.
Oh, right. Plus your 1.
16 with disadvantage.
So it's 10, actually.
10.
Oh,
Okay, you got 10.
Rubbish. All those ones. That's unbelievable. I'm robbed.
Is that 16 damage?
16 damage, and Bronwyn, you take 8. You're able to stay on your feet,
8.
though, Constance. Yes, please.
Not 16 plus 8, just 8. Okay.
No, just 8. As you're kind of crushed against the side of the wall, but the rock is now past you. So now the only person in front of the rock is Constance. And a horse. And talking of Constance, it's Bronwyn's turn.
Mhm.
Can I? The logic is flawless. Can I get to Constance?
No, the boulder's kind of pushed her backwards, but she's managed to stay on her feet and kind of crushed you against the side briefly, but you're now on the other side of the boulder.
Oh, so the boulder is between me and Constance.
Yeah.
I was going to try and aid with strength, but I can't get to her.
Just shoot the boulder.
That'll help. I have one trick, and it's not going to help here. So what's on my side? Sorry, I'm struggling to imagine this.
Going up this gully, and that's about it.
So I'm literally just squidged into the wall.
Yep.
Like a cartoon character.
I don't think there's much that she can do that's useful other than to
you peel
slowly
yourself off the wall.
Yourself off from
Perfect.
The wall.
Constance.
I would like to try and slow this boulder.
Yeah. Give me another strength.
Thanks.
19.
Ooh.
Nice. Yeah. You're still sliding backwards because it's going downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Red and Hunter, you would hear the yeah, basically that. And the weight of the boulder bearing down on Constance, but it seems to be slowing. But you'd also be aware that you can hear her sliding from around the corner, and she is coming towards the edge. And it is your turn, Hunter.
Do the horses seem like if I let go, they'll stay where they are?
Yeah, you did a good animal handling last turn.
He'll release the horses and we'll dash around the corner.
As you dash around the corner, you see Bronwyn's horse totally terrified in front of you.
He will literally just grab the reins, no care, and just literally drag this horse like with pure strength. Like, you're coming this way with me.
Cool. Yeah.
That's how horses work.
Like, he doesn't.
Yeah, he probably would.
Yeah. Literally just grab it,
just
pull it down from its rear end, have its head by him, and just pull towards the other three horses.
Yeah, and then take it round the corner or go back to Constance.
Round the corner.
Okay.
Take it to the boulder.
Red,
Take it to the bridge.
you can see all of the horses now being dragged round yours, but you can hear the squelch of Constance being pushed towards the edge, holding a rock.
Uh-huh. So is the rock coming? Have we backed round the edge and the rock's coming towards us?
So you've kind of got you kind of went round a cliff face and then up this way, and the rock's coming down this way.
That way, so we've
you've kind of got like a
backed round
path
the corner.
here, yeah.
So Constance is being pushed towards us.
And a
Cool.
cliff.
Red's going to take out her quarterstaff and try and plant it in.
As like a.
Yeah.
As everyone.
Well, to block it more like that, rather than facing towards it to make it flip.
I think Constance just had the same thought that I did.
Yep.
What?
Alien has the magic wand.
Who's got the
Bloody Alien's got it.
stuff?
Bloody
I didn't
alien.
realise I was muted.
Damn it, Alien.
Equilibrium.
That's what we need right
It's
now.
so much easier.
Why did he not give it to us before we went off on this?
Aliens
But he's going to
falling
trade it
on
off for something and another ride with
All the cool
All right.
stuff.
So you're going to go out and try and
Alien has to identify them all, so he just keeps it with him.
you're going to go out and try and
Because none of
brace
us want to
yourself.
carry the shit.
So Red's going out to try and brace herself. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, it's my rock turn. Give me a strength roll. And Red, you can give me a strength roll as well.
For all, so athletics.
15. Wow, that's the strongest she's ever been.
How am I doing thing?
You're doing a thing.
It's the strongest Red has ever been in her entire life.
It's not bad. Oh, rubbish.
Boulder's getting slower.
Between the two of you, there's an awkward, as you can feel the air behind you now, Constance, and you daren't look too far over your shoulder, but you're aware you're getting towards the edge as the boulder grinds to a halt.
Well, now this is in the bloody way.
You're pretty sure if you two were just to kind of hop to the side, it would just... You can still feel the weight of it bearing down on you, but you've managed to stop its momentum.
Yeah.
It's
Can
bearable.
we try and like just shove it to the side?
Yeah, for sure.
And then where should
I'm
I
happy
step?
with that.
Can you help me?
Oh, shoving it off the edge.
A little push to the side as the boulder slowly, at first it kind of stops, and then you see it
That's
spiral.
somebody else's
Oh,
problem
the stream's gone, by the way.
now. Oh, again?
I can see it. It's kind of dropping and coming back repeatedly. Need to get my net sorted, sorry. Sure, what the issue is, that's the issue.
Back
Okay.
now.
Cheers,
Back.
guys. Sorry. Did you take a second to see the boulder tumble down off the side of the mountain? Cheers, Moodwin. That probably would have been quite a big fall for you, Constance. Not the sort of fall where you can pick yourself up from.
Hunter's just holding on to all four reins of these horses, and all their heads like facing him, and he's facing their heads, and he's just giving them like the proper animal evil eyes, just like you're gonna listen to me and stay the fuck still.
Nice, like it.
I think Bronwyn's just kind of lying there on the floor, like,
Yeah, you pick yourself up.
give up.
You've got the horses back under control. You take a moment to look at this unnatural gully, and you can't believe you missed the fact that this was clearly a trap.
Tree lied to you.
Really?
Continue your way up.
Sure, why not?
Yes, but more carefully.
Looking
More on
out.
edge now.
Yeah.
A
He
lot
will
of you-
hand the reins over, kind of similarly reluctantly, to hand one to Bronwyn. Just for that.
Yeah, Bronwyn's horse doesn't seem too happy with her. You start making your way up the mountainside again.
She'll find some sort of edible thing in her pouch and give it to the horse as a peace
At
offering.
first, he's like,
Some berries or whatever.
Red,
Yes.
you hear a familiar voice in your head.
Oh.
Seems to be emanate. What's the word I'm looking for? Where it's
Emanate.
coming from?
Emanate.
Emanate in from the spear. There's almost a pulse to it. Red! Longstrider!
I hear you, Karvan.
Cannot hold much longer. He's gone mad. She's gone mad. Both of them. My shaman, my daughter.
Who's the shaman, Karvan?
My shaman. My trusted. No more. Kargash, you will not get away with this. I will have your head. Not her, Kargash. No, there must be another way. Quickly, Longstrider, run. There is no time to lose. Run!
Yes,
And as
Karvan.
quick as that is cut off.
Whew. Red will turn to the others and say very flatly, "We need to hurry."
Sprint.
Get back on horses.
Yeah, back on horses.
Yeah.
They've had a little rest with the boulder.
They've had a relaxing time.
They've had such a lovely holiday so far with us.
Bronwyn's horse is like, really?
Shaking, like
You
a nervous
literally 5 minutes ago left me to die. Can everyone give me an animal handling as you're trying on rough terrain now to go hell for leather? And Bronwyn, you have disadvantage
Of course I do.
because your horse hates you. Hunter, you can have advantage on yours, as can you, Red.
because you've scared the shit out of them.
7.
And I was
7
nice.
with disadvantage. Boo.
16, because it was both the same.
Survey says 10.
Okay, what did you get, Constance?
I certainly got some. I got 5.
Your horse is lagging behind, as is yours, Bronwyn. But Hunter and Red, yours are picking up. They're more than happy to carry you fast on their backs.
Oh, worst thing ever.
Hunter and Red, do you wait for the slow boys or not?
I'm running with Red.
Yeah.
He's gone pack mode.
Yeah, you're picking the pace up. The path opens wider. You go past a couple of caves in the distance. You can see in the various cliff faces, and you can see smaller paths breaking off to go to them. There's various plateaus, but Red, you feel drawn higher and higher up the mountaintop. You can see more and more bones here. There are some animal ones here as well, some large ones, various skulls of some predators, some bears, some creatures like that, wolves, none with flesh on, all complete, just skulls.
Yeah.
Higher and higher you move. Can everyone give me one last animal handle roll? You can feel the horses sweating beneath you.
God.
11.
Do we still have advantages and disadvantages?
You do indeed. Your horse is still happy with you two.
It can't get much worse to a disadvantage.
15.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah.
Bronwyn,
4.
your horse is like really, he's not happy with you riding him at all. At times you think you might be quicker on foot. Constance?
11, I think.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you got more than that. Yeah, no, you did
I
get
got
11.
11.
You're able to just physically take control of it again. You're a skilled rider and you're urging it forward. And then at the front, Red,
Yeah,
what did you get for your horse, please?
I got 14.
Oh, nice. And Hunter, 15.
15.
Yeah, you two are still pulling away into the distance. So we've got at the very front, Red and Hunter will be there first, then Constance, then Bronwyn way at the back.
Stupid.
You continue making your way forwards. The horse is sweating now. You've travelled for maybe another 10 minutes climbing up. The mist is thick and you're right in it now, but there's certain pockets where the mist almost breaks. In the distance, you see some flashes of light, very brief. You can smell burning in the air. There's a static here, an electricity to the air and around you. And then it goes deadly quiet. You can see sat on a row on a large rock near one of the caves. Woman, white gown, dress, no veil. Her hair down over her shoulders. You've seen her before. There's a strength to her. She's not a fragile, delicate thing. It's a power emanating from her for sure. She looks to you, charging up, Red and Hunter. Just slowly, what you say? Puts her hand up.
Is this the one Red?
Yes.
I'm not your enemy. Parley. Talk to
Red
me.
will look at Hunter because she doesn't know what parley means.
He's already turning full, like his form is changing on this horse as soon as you said it. That's the one. As soon as you said yes, you could already hear his bones start clicking and his form get larger on this horse as now he turns more wolf-like than man.
She doesn't move as you continue charging up towards her. She'd probably be able to say one more thing before you were upon her. What does Red do? Does Red charge, or is Red...
Red will pull the horse back slightly.
Yeah.
So the horse is still moving, but now it's at more like a brisk trot rather than a gallop.
There's a haunting beauty to her. And... yeah.
Straight at the Red's head. Speak quickly before my companion does something he'll regret.
A deal. I'll help you, you help me.
I'm not accustomed to making deals with creatures such as you.
And we start now. He doesn't stand in an aggressive pose at all. Hunter, what do you do?
How close is she to me and my horse?
You could be upon her. She's not made any effort to defend herself.
He doesn't know how to fight on horse, so he will bring the horse up and he will jump off of it. As he does, you just see both his claws kind of go through the mist, absorbing all the static as his all of a sudden just burst into flame, and he just goes in for like claws, just trying to cut her to ribbons.
Yep. Give me an attack roll, please.
So I take. So as I turn it into fire, I think I take damage for that. Yeah, I take 1d8 of damage for turning him into fire. I take 6 points of damage.
To make
yeah.
Hunter kill himself.
I still have 1 temp hit point. Thank you.
Constance, just as you kind of come round, you'd be able to see Hunter diving forwards into
So
I
woman.
didn't hear her say parlay.
Not from that range, no. But you can see she's made no aggressive. Her hands are wide.
Mm-hmm. I would keep moving the horse forward, but not do anything that looks aggressive.
Okay.
24, 14, and 20.
Nice. As you
My 3
leap
attacks.
through the air, rage fills you. Diving for her as you slice. She doesn't move at all, not at the last second. There's no flinch from her at all. And as your claws snake out, they go straight through her as there's a ripple and a shimmer to her as mist erupts from her, and where she was just vanishes. Red and Constance, you're pretty sure you've seen illusions before, especially from Elian. It was a very good illusion with her voice as well.
Yeah.
Bronwyn, you'd come around the corner just to see that.
Okay.
And you would be extremely aware that you probably never have faced one, but vampire spellcasters are extraordinarily good illusionists as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hunter, are you all right?
I'm fine. As you kind of see him kind of put his head up and he starts sniffing the air.
It was a magical illusion.
You have advantage on wisdoms while tracking fae, fiends, or the undead.
Oh.
Nice. Give me a roll, please.
So I have advantage on trying to see if I can find out where she is. 23 or
you pick
23.
up her scent. Yeah, you pick her scent up. As it's a bit slower, but you'll start as you can hear her voice. It seems to be echoing, and it's hard to pinpoint where. But Hunter, you're trusting your nose.
Yeah. So I roughly know where she is, yeah?
Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, you're tracking her down from her scent at the moment. She's definitely been here, and you're closing down on her.
Yeah.
You'll talk quite quickly. Bear with me. He's gone mad over the years. Help me. A gift for the wedding. An ally they'll have. You will see.
Who heard that?
You can hear the voice of the bride.
Oh.
But you can't really pinpoint where it's coming through magical means. Hunter, as you're sniffing around for her, it's tricky because there's various points where her scent leaves the ground.
Yeah.
But you're slowly closing in on her for sure.
Constance, she said a word I do not know.
What was it?
Parley.
It means to discuss peace before fighting, or after, like to stop fighting and discuss things.
She asked for one, that we do something for her and she do something for us. I do not know these creatures very well, and I'm not inclined to trust them.
Then you hear her voice echo. Will not lose my love without a fight. Help me. An ally. I have his ear.
Can we all hear that?
Yeah, it's eerily kind of echoing, and it's very awkward to tell where it's coming from. Bronwyn, you'd be well known that there's magics that can do this.
Yeah.
Hunter, give me one last track, and no, don't track. You reckon you know where she is. She's invisible, but you reckon you know where she is, and she's flying.
She can hear.
Oh, okay.
Not far off the floor, but she's close to here for sure. It would be a hard attack. You'd have to leap, but you reckon you know where she is.
Before anyone starts fighting, Bronwyn is going to. She remembers what this woman did to Elian last time they met, and would like to do a protection from evil and good.
You invoke that on yourself or someone else?
Well, I can do it on all four of us.
I think it's a concentration.
Oh yeah, it is. So I can only hold it. That means I can only have it on one person at a time.
It's all.
Who is she going to put it on? Hunter, I think.
You'd struggle to reach him. He's right at the very front. He didn't stop. Yeah.
She'll put it on herself then.
Yeah, you invoke the magic.
Yeah.
Hunter, what do you want to do?
So I roughly know where she is, right?
Be a hard attack, but you reckon you know where she is.
Oh. With a quick kind of like flick of a wrist, he cuts his opposite wrist and flicks his blood towards where he thinks she is. And I will try and blood curse bind her.
Yeah.
It is a DC 13 strength. I will also amplify it, so I will take 1d8 points of damage.
So strength was that? Sorry.
Strength, yes. I take 7. Oh, she is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But there is blood on her.
Yeah, you don't think it's you hit with it, but you don't think it's been effective. And with that, the others do.
We can't see her yet, can we? She's still invisible.
Okay.
No.
You can see now something floating with blood on it, though.
Yeah, I think I need to actually see her to do what I want to do.
You asked to parlay. I keep going forward. What guarantee do we have that if we parlay with you, you will not kill us all?
Silence.
Hannah looks extremely puzzled by all this talk because we were all here to kill it. This is the whole Strahd incident again. At the in his mind, he's just like, "What is going on now?"
Red, Karvan, do you still trust him?
Yes. He spoke to me earlier, but it was fractured, as if something were blocking him.
And his request was
That we hurry
what
to
we've.
her. He wants us to free her from her
Yes.
curse.
Then that's what we do. And Bronwyn will get an arrow out and ready it.
Yep. As you sniff the air, Hunter, you think she's left. You can see a trail going further up the mountain, about 200 meters to the north, which is where you first saw some of the bright flashes as you were coming.
So the bit where my blood hit's gone, yeah? So she's definitely left. She's left. I still have her trail.
Good. She said that she will fight. She will not lose her love without a fight. I do not believe she knows what we intend to do to her love.
Mm.
Constance, Red and Bronwyn, give me a insight. Hunter, it's worth it.
Hunter, you're dumb.
12.
7.
11.
I make very average
Yeah, I hit that
tonight.
twice.
Very
11.
average.
All 10s and 11s.
I got 17. But Hannah doesn't give a fuck.
He's unable to interpret the information.
Hunter, when she said, "I won't lose my love without a fight," you don't think it was about fighting you?
Yeah.
What did you get, Constance?
11, not good.
But you are quite insightful.
It's 12, yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I'm dumb.
Bronwyn's not having a good day in general.
What do you do?
Hannah will start tracking, following the the scent.
And
Just
so you
follow-
need to stay with the rest of us as well. This is not something you can take on your own. Slow down.
He has to go a bit slower to track it anyway. So
Yeah. I mean, Red's movement speed is like so low. She is like.
I'm going to leave the horse on this plateau as well. I'm not going to move it any forward.
I don't think there's any point taking the horses further than this.
Get in the way.
I won't be able to tie my horse up. My hands are on fire.
No, to put
Bronwyn can-
stakes
Yeah.
in the ground.
Yeah.
The horses seem quite happy just to stand here and kind of like lick some rocks and try and find some moss and stuff like that.
Red will
Lovely.
leave the last of her mushrooms to them.
Gives you a little nuzzle and thank you.
Mm.
You make your way up the final rise.
Yeah, I suppose we follow Hunter.
Who's going first? What formation are you going in, please?
Hunter's at the front.
Yeah.
Red will go behind Hunter.
Yeah.
Constance will take at the rear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm third then.
You can see a large cave with some building, very rudimental around it as well. Various bones, an altar here, but not an altar of the like you have seen. Not one of Strahd's for sure. Natural. Red, you've probably seen druidic altars like this before. That kind of sits in the centre, and you're coming from the south up. Stood next to the altar with a curved dagger in out. Hey, two wolves. It's two wolves, sorry. I'm the worst.
Two
Next
wolves.
up,
Two wolves holding a dagger.
There's a man.
That's where we're ending.
Is it a man? It's two wolves in a trench coat.
It's 2 wolves in a guy.
I hate you all. A man who looks old as time. Sorry, I'm the worst. As he stands near this large altar. The mist here at points almost breaks to the skyline, you're so high up. This is the brightest you've seen the sun since you've been here. As you look, he eyeballs you, Red, and he looks to you. There's a madness to him for sure. His face gaunt and his cheekbones high, his skin bruised. As you look, you can see part of his neck is missing, but it's not bleeding. You see a faint glow underneath it.
Is it like he's been preserved?
That kind of look to him, for sure.
Ew,
Seems natural.
gross.
You see opposite him, so as you're coming from the south, he's kind of central, and then you can see to the west side, the bride stands there. Her hands now clawed like, her fingers stretched out. One hand comes forward, and a ray of bright ice shoots from it towards him. And the man brings the dagger round. You see him tear into the air, and you hear Karvan scream in your head, Red. No! As a spirit forms in front of this man and gets vaporized by the attack.
Oh, we need to stop him.
As he then tears again and again and 2 more, and he controls them and holds them in front, and you see a wicked smile come across the old man's face. He speaks in a language you don't recognize. Nesioto vie ka nevie.
Is he friend or foe, Red?
Red will very, very quickly try and desperately to shout through at Karvan.
Kill
and
him.
ask, is that-
Kill him,
is
Red,
that
before he
Karvan?
kills all my people.
Right,
Kill
yeah.
him. Remove him from this plane. End him now.
Yeah, Red will prep a spell and fire it at the old dude.
Can everyone give me initiative, please?
And as she preps the spell, she'll shout, yes, foe.
18.
25.
7.
Let's
My
see
dice
what I
hate
get.
me tonight.
18.
2.
25. Constance?
2.
Bronwyn?
I love how Constance is always like
7.
our solid, reliable end of initiative.
You know,
Come
when
in
the
and
round's about to
stops everyone
restart
up.
because I've gone.
Red, you're actually the quickest.
Yeah. I'm fucking mad. Red is going to cast Cool Lightning. He's going to use one of Strahd's spells. So he will need to make a dexterity saving throw of 15 or higher.
Cool.
And if he fails, he will take.
Half.
Yeah, on a success, he'll take half. On a fail, he'll take. Is that 17?
17, yeah.
Yeah, 17 lightning damage.
As you invoke the lightning and smash it towards him, let me just roll d20 just in case it does. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Did I have advantage?
No.
Nope.
No,
Ah, god
Only
damn
doors.
it.
only on doors and traps, which
Give
is
me,
used.
give me some damage, please.
7. Did he fail?
Yeah, he did.
17 lightning damage.
Days. Okay, thank you.
And like storm clouds have gathered on that spot.
Yeah, because it's coming down, isn't it? You're calling
It's
it down.
literally like the storm clouds start to gather. They're like black and they crackle with electricity. And she just almost brings the lightning down on him in just this massive clap.
Bear with me, sorry.
Is it stormy? Or is it clear?
No, it is stormy now.
Oh, I was about to say, if it was stormy before I cast a spell, I can also add another d10 damage. Or was it clear?
You see him try and bring one of the spirits around, but he doesn't do it in time as your spell rips into the side of him as he half stumbles to the back. Half stumbles backwards. Hunter.
Him or her, decide.
Him.
With that, he just full on 45 foot of movement comes flying
Give
over.
me... You won't make it this turn. It'd be a double move. Give me a perception.
22.
You can see something on the altar, or just next to the altar as you start sprinting towards him. It looks to be the form of a very large skull. Huge skull. Not that of a human, but draconic.
What?
We found it.
Go. Hunter will kind of clock it and be like, won't say anything though because he's in go
Just
mode.
rounds to a halt, like, what?
This wasn't the plan.
This wasn't part of the plan.
Another blast of ice. Comes out of Jotel as it spirals towards him. This time he does move that spirit in front as it gets just turned into mist in front. Again, Red, you hear Karvan screaming in your head.
I hear you, buddy.
Too many tabs, I can't do it. Bronwyn, turn please.
Really? Okay. I thought I rolled really low.
You did. 7.
She's gonna shoot him.
Yep.
With an arrow.
Zibbo comes back.
She's gonna try and hit him twice. Let's see. Oh, crit for the first one. There's my good dice.
Oop, there it is.
And 24 for the second.
So it's 12 plus 8, so it's 20 damage because you get auto max on the first one, don't you?
As you draw back the bow, he moves the last spirit in front of him. As your arrow strikes true, but unfortunately not into him, but into one of the spirits. And again, just disappears into mist.
Was that on the first hit?
That was the first arrow, yeah. There's no spirits left, it's just him now.
Okay, and the second one was a 24 to hit.
That's a hit. Give me some damage.
10 for the second one.
Gosh. The arrow strikes true. You see him trying to control a spirit to move in the way of it, but he can't pull it back. He can't pull one through into the realm fast enough.
How
to
far
take
away
it.
are we from him?
You're about 50 foot.
Okay.
Constance.
I'm gonna run towards him, and as soon as I am within 30 foot of him, I'm going to cast Compel Duel on him.
Ooh.
There is a save against that, isn't there?
Does that have any negatives to us? Must make a wisdom saving throw.
What would it be on? What?
It will be
14.
Hang on.
Sorry, I'm not sure what it's.
Oh, hang on a minute. Let me go
Total.
to Hunter. Let's go. Spells. 14 is the save. So you meet, you beat.
Dang.
But I don't think that's a good one to give anyway, because I think we get.
Yeah, sorry, wisdom is his jam. Yeah, you invoke it, Constance, and for a second, you think you almost get him as he takes half a step towards you. Doria. As you're closing the distance to him, Hunter, you're pretty much on him. Constance, you're about 15 foot away. Red and Bronwyn are at the back.
If you fail to cast something as a bonus action, can you then cast something as a
Main
as an
action.
action?
You can cast a cantrip.
Only a cantrip, though.
Only a cantrip. So you can cast 2 spells as long
One's
as
got to be a cantrip,
one's a
yeah.
cantrip,
Sure.
because you're still technically casting it.
Yeah. I didn't know if it actually succeeded or not. Okay, I'll carry on running.
You would see Hunter as you're charging towards him. You're like the other side of the altar. He brings the dagger up as if he's about to attack you, and just and starts tumbling backwards.
It would be Red's turn before me.
Just slams it into his own chest, and you see his arms go wide, and he just slowly starts falling. Red, what do you do?
Red is going to drop the concentration on the lightning spell and is going to run forward to where he is falling.
Mm-hmm. You can keep it up. It's not an action to keep it up, so you can just hold it in the back of your mind if you want. You don't have to cast anything this turn. Yeah.
Because everyone else is in way too close proximity. And she will go towards him and try to get that connection with Karvan again.
Yep. Seems tired. So much damage.
The dagger, is that what's trapping these souls or using them?
He's here. No, you can't. Hunter, your turn.
Seeing that target is just dropped, he'd literally turn and bolt towards the vampire.
You could reach her this round?
Yep. He is going to cut and cut and cut.
Yep.
21 being the first, 16 being the second, and then the final one being 26.
Ooh.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's 3 hits.
That will be 13 magical slashing plus 12 magical slashing plus 10 magical slashing. 35. But wait, there's more. There's the fire magic. They were all on fire as well. And then it's 3d8 worth of fire damage on top of that, being another 12 points of damage.
Jeez. Yeah,
47
that hurt
points of
her.
damage.
Jeez. Okay, it's her turn.
And now she's in close combat.
Her eyes fix on you, Hunter.
Yeah, that's fair.
All you can see is her. Her beauty. She stops for a second. You forget where you are. You forget who you are as you are just drawn into who she is and what she wants. Can you give me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Oh,
He's not wise.
He is not a wise one, our hunter.
It's a charm. You've got any advantage against charm?
I may have advantage. I don't think I do. Hunter's Bane. I don't think I do. No. No, I do not. That is a shame. Right, well, let's see what happens. Let's hope for something high.
Shame.
That's an 18.
Not bad.
This game is brutally bullshit. I hate it.
As he's looking at the face, and he kind of feels this spell coming on him. Something in his mind shows him a face of a small, like, girl.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
And he's like, "You're not my family," and just continues to go at her.
Bronwyn, your turn.
the one who just stabbed himself, he's fallen out of view, hasn't he?
Yeah.
She is going to fixate on our vampire sorceress and use, I've lost it, her basically tell me everything about you. Hunter's sense.
Okay.
You immediately learn whether the creature has any immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and what they are.
So resistance,
Might help.
necrotic, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
From non-magical weapons, or is that from all-
Non-magical. She has got Misty Escape, which means if you drop her, she's got to make it back to her coffin.
Mhm.
Regeneration, the normal vampire weaknesses. Sunlight being the big one. That's about it.
Question: if
Shadow?
they get killed by sunlight, do they still get the misty back to their coffin, or are they dead
No.
outright?
If it's sunlight or running water that gets us, they're destroyed.
Follow-up question. The Misty Jump, is that a spell that she has to
No.
enact?
Misty Escape is a innate ability.
Okay, so it wouldn't... Magic interruption skills wouldn't stop it happening.
No,
Okay.
when she's put to 0 hit points, you would know she'll turn to mist unless it is sunlight that has dropped her.
Right, okay.
Cool. Was she looking beat up at all after my attacks?
Oh yeah, that fucking hurt, dude. That hurt. That you messed her up.
Bronwyn will say out loud, Constance, we're going to need your sword here.
Yeah.
Trying not to give the game
First.
away to the vampire sorceress, and hoping that is clear enough.
I'm really
We're
hoping
going to
Yeah.
the worst.
need your sword here.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
That's
Anything else you want to do, Bronwyn, or is that an action to do that
that's
ability?
an action to do that. So
Okay, Constance, your turn. You see this witch doctor, stroke shaman, whatever you want to call him, just
Yeah.
stabbed himself in the chest.
Yeah. In response to
she's been hit by a boulder. Okay.
In response to Bronwyn saying, "We'll need your sword," you continue running forward towards the vampire and say, "But first, it's hammer time."
Minus inspiration for that.
I like this minus inspiration.
No, I needed to say it. No, and run towards her and pull out the warhammer because that's.
Yep.
Am I within melee range?
Yep.
Cool. Then I will cast branding smite with this attack.
Sorry.
The next attack.
Bronwyn, at the end of your turn, she is going to attack Hunter. Where's your AC, please, Hunter?
18.
Sure.
Yeah, is that magical? Or is that normal bludgeoning?
Normal bludgeoning, please. So
cool. So 5. I take it off that.
She grapples you.
Wicked.
She just whacks you in the face, bang, and you see her grab hold of Hunter.
Okay. Yep.
Is she still floating?
No, she's on the floor now. Yep, you close the different distance.
Okay.
You want to attack?
So you cast it?
Yeah. Cool. I will attack. I'll try and swing for her legs. Cast Branding Smite. So it's so long since I've rolled dice.
Warhammer.
I can't remember what I'm doing.
It's a while since I've smashed some vampires in the face.
16
is depressingly a hit.
A hit.
And I'm going to cast this as I'm going to cast it as a 3rd level spell. So it's 3d6 radiant damage.
On top.
10 radiant and 8 bludgeoning.
The radiant seems very effective. The other damage isn't magical, is it? It's normal.
I had my warhammer sort of dunked in the silver.
It is silver, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not done very well, but
no, it won't be effective against her, I'm afraid. But the radiant seems to hurt her.
She also can no longer go invisible without being obvious. For up to a minute.
Hunter. Spell, so you've got it constantly.
She is going to bite you.
Okay.
No, it's concentration until I use it. Basically.
Nope.
Take 8 magical and then 11 necrotic.
Oh, because she doesn't have to roll an attack, does she, when she's grappled me? How much magical?
8 magical normal and then 11 magical necrotic.
19.
As her fangs dig deep into your shoulder.
Okay. I don't think I've got anything for negating necrotic. Okay.
Red.
Yeah.
You see the wound that was in the shaman's neck.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever was holding it together just leaves and it opens wide open and the head kind of lolls to the side. You see the skull of the dragon lift off the floor.
Nope.
Flesh starts to knit itself around it, around the skull to start with, but there's an etherealness to it, getting bigger and moving out from the head and moving down the whole body of it over time. In front of your very eyes, you are kind of seeing a spirit knit the body back together.
Oh.
Of a dragon.
Of a dragon. It's not completed yet, but the rate it's going, you think it probably will be completed next turn.
Does it seem aggressive?
That's up to you to decide.
I've not met a dragon before. I don't know its body language.
Is there an obvious person who's doing this, Adam, like a caster, or does it just seem to
It
be...
looks similar to the energy that you saw, which was holding the previous body together.
Is it coming from the vampire?
No.
No. I need to see the person who's doing it to do anything about it. So.
So wait, it's on the ground, is it?
The head is slowly rising up as the body's kind of built underneath it.
Can you?
It looks like it's going to be large, comfortable enough to easily swallow you whole. Bigger than the previous dragon that you have seen.
Yep.
We dealt with that so successfully.
Red is going to cast Erupting Earth where it is to try and like knock it. So whatever was knitting it together, it's suddenly been knocked out of their like line of sight or where they held it.
Does it do damage?
Let me just. It does do damage.
Slow it down.
So it needs to do a 15 dexterity save.
They fail it automatically.
20 bludgeoning damage. And the earth is now difficult terrain.
Okay. Big area around you. No, it unfortunately doesn't slow it down, but it did hurt it. It seems to get wounded. You can
the skull itself?
The flesh that is being knitted around it.
Oh, okay. Great. As a bonus action, I'm going to call on the spirit of the eagle totem.
Nice.
So yeah, this massive eagle folds out its wings. It's made out of like air and earth all swirling together. Very Pocahontas-y. I have all these leaves. And I'll double check it, but I believe everyone within its aura gets advantage on. I'll need to look at it.
Ranged attacks, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can use your reaction
to have make your attack advantage.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Hawk totem 5e. I'll just double check. No, this is so terrible. I usually have them all written down. One attack with advantage per turn.
Nice.
An advantage on perception.
Nice. Hunter, your turn. She's got you round the throat, lifted you off the ground, has bit into you, moved you back, and you're kind of stood in her grapple still.
Okay, I am
freakishly strong.
Because it doesn't actually affect your attacks when you're in a grapple.
No, you're speed 0.
I am going to use a bonus action and going to claw her as one of my actions.
Okay.
For 22 to hit, 13 magical slashing.
Yeah.
Plus 1 fire damage, so 14 damage in total. And then I'm going to grapple her back. So basically, as
we've kind of got each other.
So we've got each other.
Cuddle party.
So it's opposing athletics. I think she's going to beat me though. I only rolled a 13, unless oh no, I've got advantage. Because I think I get advantage for hybrid form. Yay!
Great strength.
15.
15 from her.
No, so she got 15 as well, did she?
Yeah.
It says 10 and 13, but okay.
Oh no! I was reading yours. Ooh, she got 10. Sorry.
So I grapple her back, and so now we're both grappled.
Okay.
Cuddle.
So we're just Muay Thaiing it, just in the clinch, just going to town.
Constance, they are both quite close to the edge of this kind of plateau area here.
Yeah.
It's her turn. She's going to bite you. Why not? Take 7 magical biting and then 15 necrotic.
22.
That's your one.
Constance, you'd be able to see a lot of the wounds on her healing.
She has been hit by fire.
But
And
from the drain, not natural regeneration.
Oh, okay.
So it's the when she's draining you, she's getting back hit points rather than regenerating.
You see Hannah's eyes turn more wolfish.
I imagine it's like bloodshot.
Bloodshot, yeah, and just
That's cool.
and his fire's erupted larger from his hands now.
Then she's gonna strike you. So that's not magical though. That's just 5.
Yeah, so it's 5 damage. Yeah.
She will release the grapple on you,
But she's still grappled by me.
Yeah, still. Yep. You feel her looking over your shoulder, and you see her eyes go wide and her mouth goes slack for a second. She's like that kind of expression just for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
She's been Bronwyn. Your turn. You can comfortably see this dragon being knitted together.
Yeah.
Just it started with a skull. There's a bright light in it, and the skull started to lift off the floor. And as it did, you could see like a spine being made out of this kind of blue energy, quite ethereal spirit-like, and getting bigger and bulkier as a dragon.
And that's happening pretty quickly.
Pretty quick. You reckon by next turn you think it's going to be completed?
Yeah.
Are there any doors nearby?
It's called Dungeons and Dragons for a reason, right? It's Dungeons and Dragons for a reason.
Bronwyn is going to attempt a door dance in the vague hope.
But when you would have seen, when you saw Bronwyn strike it, when you saw Red hit it with magic, you saw the body which is being built around it take damage.
So it is taking damage, okay. Hunter and Constance have got vampire, and it needs to be Constance who decks her anyway, so she will focus on the dragon. And I guess the best thing she can do is just shoot it. That's the most damage she can possibly do to it. Yeah, so she, as a bonus action, will mark it as her prey.
Mm-hmm.
Slayer's, Hunter's Prey, whatever it is called. I've lost it on my sheet, but yeah, I get an extra 1d6 on damage. And then, 2 shots. And she will enact her sharpshooter as well. So -5 to hit, but +10 damage.
Nice.
So 22 on the first one. So it'd be 17 with the -5.
That's a hit.
And the second one's a hit as well. And I need to roll a d6. So that's 19 plus 22. 21, 4. Is that right? 47? That seems an awful lot.
How much damage?
It's +10 on each hit. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think is that just your sharpshooter the first attack or all attacks?
I did sharpshooter for both.
How much in total?
So 9 plus 10 is 19, plus the 6 is 25, plus 12, 35, 37, plus 10, 47. Yeah, 47.
You take a second.
Magical.
Yeah, steady yourself.
Yeah.
Deep breath, and then both aiming at the skull.
Yeah, or kind of like into like the fleshy.
Yeah.
Like kind of like between the eyes, but into the fleshy. Yeah.
You strike into the fleshy parts of it, and it definitely seems to take damage, which isn't getting knitted together as it's being built. Constance.
Yeah.
At the end of Bronwyn's turn, While they're having fun on the floor, she's going to bite you again, Johnny.
Yeah. But she's no longer grappling me.
Oh yeah, I need to roll to hit you now.
That hits me.
Yeah. Take 10 piercing, so 5 and... No, it's magical, so it's 10 piercing and 7 necrotic.
So 17 in total.
And again, you see some of the wounds on her heal up.
Yep. Seeing Hunter looking so bad, Constance is going to drop the warhammer and pull out the sunsword.
Yeah.
And I'm like to the side of them both, aren't they? They're like side on to me.
Yep.
And then swing it.
Are you going to ignite it?
Oh yeah, but at the last possible second.
You get to attack twice as well, remember?
Yes, I do. And I'm going to cast Divine Smite while I hit.
You only declare that when you actually hit.
Oh yeah, when you hit with the melee. Okay, so 2 attacks. Thank you for reminding me how to play this game, Johnny. I forget every week.
12. You want to click the top?
Yeah. It's 20. Yeah, 12 and 25. So I'm guessing the 12 doesn't hit.
Remember, you can use your.
You can use your reaction to get advantage. So
Yeah,
you
you
might as well
Oh,
do
cool.
that.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Yeah, so roll again.
So the eagle is there.
25 and 26.
The eagle has landed.
25 and 26. And one of them also has 3d8 radiant damage. 17 radiant damage.
And 19 sun damage.
Yeah.
And how much?
19.
Sun.
So 36 damage altogether.
Radiant and sun.
Either radiant or sun.
As you looked over your shoulder, Constance, at what was behind you, you saw her eyes go wide. Now, as she looks towards you, as the sword comes out, she screams as it ignites in your hand. Where before there's been this cry for vengeance, this hurricane rushing past you. Now, there is this cool breeze of satisfaction. As the sword bursts into flame, as you've got to turn your own head away from it, the heat radiating off it and how close it is to your face as you strike down twice, feeling guided by Red's eagle. Both blows strike in as Hunter is basically holding her, and they dig in incredibly deep, and you can see her skin is blackening from where you've struck in hard. She does not look well at all. Dragon team, you see the dragon get completed. Its head comes open and roars to the skies, but there is no sound from it.
Is it like skeletal or is it fleshy?
Fleshy,
ghostly.
but almost there's a translucent-ish to it.
It's like a ghost dragon.
Ish.
With a skull inside.
Yeah, with the skull inside.
No.
Who hit it the hardest? Hello, Bronwyn.
Hi.
With a beat of its wings, it does actually shift air as it lurches forwards at Bronwyn. Red, you've got an attackable opportunity with a melee attack if you want to try and hit it.
Yep. I can.
Bronwyn, can you give me a wisdom check, please?
That was 18.
Yes.
What did you roll to hit?
18 to hit it.
Is amazingly a miss.
But I also do have advantage.
Oh, yeah, give me a reroll.
11. No, so miss.
Wisdom, sorry.
Yes,
Saving.
please.
I get advantage on that because it's my prey.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh. I'm glad I had advantage on it. 19.
Yes, me too.
Nice.
Oh no.
For a second, you feel the terror of what this is bearing down and coming towards you sap away your strength, but you're able to shake your head and focus in on it. Unfortunately, that does not stop it trying to eat you.
Shame. Oh my, that's a lot of numbers.
It bites in hard. First thing, as its jaws come screaming towards you in an eerie silence. Take 19 points of damage. Then, what's your armor class?
16.
The first claw, you're able to bring your bow round, you push it off the floor, and are able to just roll out of the way of the claw. But the second one comes straight down on you and take another 15 points of damage.
Oof.
Ooh. Stingy.
That hurt.
You're able to then roll with it and spring back up to your feet, but it is on top of you now.
Great.
Hunter.
I need to roll a wisdom save. I am still in control.
Oh, is it getting crazy? Oh, it would be her anyway.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I am going to use my attack action to put her on the ground as a.
You're gonna pin her.
I'm going to pin her.
Nice.
We need to make.
Oh no, sorry, red. Oh, sorry, it's red first. It's red first. Sorry.
Oh, well.
Is there anything I can sense in the area that's controlling this dragon or that was causing it to knit together?
As you take a second look around, you can see the body of the old man, chest still with the dagger in it, gaping wound in his neck. That's about it.
Red is going to pull the dagger out of his chest.
From your travels with Karvan, you definitely remember him saying he had a shaman who had kept him alive and helped him fight against Strahd.
Yeah.
But you also definitely remember him saying that his daughter killed him.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that is when Karvan fell. Soon after that, Strahd came for him and somehow had a dragon, and Karvan killed himself, killing the dragon.
Yeah. Red will
beast
out of the body.
Good old Karvan.
I'm imagining it like,
Karvan.
what's that, like
What?
Christopher Bale film with the dragons where it's like a shitty piece of
Fire. Something of fire.
Yeah, Rain of Fire.
Rain of
Rain of
Fire.
Fire. So
There's
bad.
like one like old like
It's not old. It's Matthew McConaughey.
It's Matthew McConaughey.
It's
I was
Matthew
imagining
McConaughey.
Ray Winston or somebody
No,
like
it's
running
Matthew
off,
McConaughey with
like
the
jumping
beard.
off a roof and then like
All right.
hitting him in
For sure.
directly,
For sure.
but with the blood spear.
But then it would seem that his shaman has been up to no good. Anyway.
Yeah, naughty.
Naughty.
Yeah. Red will grab the hilt of the dagger and pull it out of his chest.
You as you touch it and you pull it out, you can hear in the back of your mind screaming. Maybe 200 people just screaming in the back of your mind. It's dizzying for a second. Just this chorus of voices crying in pain in the back of your mind.
Okay, so this needs to get destroyed. Cool. She'll then set off a spell. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. You feel you could attune to it, but you're not attuned to it. The dagger. But just from touching it, you can hear them screaming.
Yeah. She's gonna place that just in her belt, so it's out of the way, and is gonna cast
Use that for later.
Still screaming, but yeah.
Another. Yeah. At least it's just so it's out of her hand.
We'll do it with you later.
Another spell off at the dragon. It's going to be, in fact, Where's it gone? We're going to do a tasty conjure animals at 5th level. So that means I'm going to summon 4 dire wolves, please.
Nice.
And they're going to be placed like at the on the flanks of that dragon.
Yeah. So
and they're all like ethereal, fey, and they all have magic attacks.
Nice, go for it.
I love that with the spell you could have gone for 8 seahorses.
I wonder how that would work. If the seahorses be on the floor,
They flop
or would they
over
start
and they
floating?
Why do you keep summoning me? Stop it.
So shall I do the direwolf's attacks?
Yeah.
You want me to do 4 or do you want me to do 1 and...
Do 1 times 4. That'd be funnier. It would either be really good or really bad. They've got advantage though.
Up here. So they're all going to bite.
What I want to know is why you didn't go for flying snake. That's what we need right now.
Yeah.
So they've got advantage if you want to re-roll that.
Yeah, I will do. Where's they gone? Terrible.
No. First one.
They don't make contact.
How many attacks have they got? Just 1?
Just the 1. It's a bite and a drag.
Okay. You see the 4 wolves come out of the mist, summoned like eerie spirits, and all dive in to try and bite into the dragon's flanks, but its armor stands true. The dragon is going to do a legendary action as well. Days. It's going to try and swat one of the wolves with its tail. 18 bludgeoning damage on one of them, please.
Yeah.
The tail comes slamming down onto one of the dire wolves.
Just gonna take
Hunter, your turn, sir.
Yeah, so we need to do a athletics.
Is that a roll off?
You can either choose strength or dexterity, but he's going to try and trip you. He has advantage. 23.
Bloody hell, yeah.
I trip her over. She now has no movement, so she can't get up because she's
grappled and tripped.
Grappled and tripped. So he basically trips her, puts all his weight on her, and just brings his claw and just starts trying to claw her neck out, while kind of wincing from the sun sword as well. So I'll do 1 claw attack as well as a bonus action. And I gain advantage because it is she's prone. 21.
That's a hit.
8 points of magical slashing and 2 fire, so 10 in total. Ten magical fire.
10.
10.
You're always so grumpy when we kill the things that you set us out to kill.
I can't believe you managed to.
Dragon.
If she would have got you with that dominate, oh my days.
Yeah.
Right. It's her turn. Constance, she brings the sword round high. Just her being in the light, she brings her hands up to try and keep the sun away from her. You start to see the hand just starting to disintegrate in front, going down her arm and into nowhere. She just kind of stares. Father, sorry, forgive. As she just burns and then starts to scream. Before you know what's happened, Hunter, you're on top of a pile of ash.
Hunter's just instantly just turns and look at Constance and has this look on him. And then he looks at the dragon and there is another look of just, I'm about to kill this thing.
Bronwyn, your turn.
So the dragon is on me, but not. He hasn't got me.
You're on your feet. It is engaged with you. There's wolves biting at it from all sides. Its tail has just slammed one down. It might do something
But I'm
else.
free of the bite, aren't I? I'm.
1 second. Well, you might not be.
Oh.
I don't think the bite has an auto grapple. Does it?
No, it's not.
No.
Oh. So she is going to then, as a bonus action, use Fade Away. So
You disengage.
Yeah, she just turns invisible like that.
Nice, cool.
And will then use her action to, as stealthily as possible, just get somewhere else away so that
So you've
it's
kind of
confused.
got to the north, or you've got south going down off this plateau. So to the north, you've kind of got Red over to one side, the 4 wolves around the dragon, and then you've got Hunter and Constance up the other side.
She doesn't want to be down from it, so I guess to the north then. She doesn't want to be below it. She just wants to get far enough away that she's more arrow range than melee range.
Ooh, yeah.
Hopefully her stealth plus all the noise going on, plus being invisible, will be enough to confuse it and get her out of the immediate trouble. It's the plan.
Okay. Yeah, you get somewhere safe. Is that your whole turn?
Yeah, well, I guess the action would be the moving.
Yeah, you get somewhere prone and safe, and you think you're in a good position. Constance.
Did you just say me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You think as she passed, as you looked at her, Constance, you think there was some genuine remorse for a second as she died.
I think it's a case of like, oh yeah, we did it.
Where the fuck did that come from?
So how big is this dragon now? How much of the area does it take up?
It's huge. It's let me just 1 second.
As simply as possible.
It's big.
It's big.
It's a dragon.
It's 12 feet shoulder from foot to shoulder.
Okay.
And about 25 foot long.
So the area that we're on, is it taking up most of that space?
Ish. So it was about 45 foot from here to there. So it's kind of about half of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can reach it comfortably.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to see that, then turn back to Hunter, who is sort of going like twitchy.
Yeah.
And grab him like in the chest and use Lay on Hands to put 25 points of healing into him.
Nice. Yep, boom.
Just type 25.
Yeah, type 25. I don't know if that's going to be...
It's my turn.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh,
Can everyone give me a Constitution saving throw, please?
Who? Everyone.
Everybody.
I'd also like to move if possible.
Oh yes, of course.
To join the rest of the party in the front, I guess.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
18 plus 2 from Constance, so 20.
Oh yeah, you're all in my aura now.
Okay.
Oh, so 17 then.
Oh, so 16.
Did you get Constance?
I got 13. And I'd be sort of glancing down at the body if it's still within view. Oh, ooh, damn. Is that a... No, it's not a spell, is it? It's a...
Yeah, it's a spell.
Oh, fuck.
That's a spell. That's a cold... so
As the head comes back, this blast of cold, it's basically the whole plateau for 70 points of damage if you did not save, or 35 if you did.
What was this?
None of us saved. It was 20.
DC 20.
Oh, I saved.
I did not.
You've got...
that only catches 2 of your wolves, Red.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna guess.
Oh, you don't get...
good.
Yeah.
They're gone.
but 2 are still there.
Pretty
The 2 at the back of it.
It spells it.
So how much damage do I take? 35.
35.
Oh God! Thank you for giving me that help.
I mean, this creature does not look well, but neither do you guys. I don't think after that.
Bronwyn's down.
No, you're not. You got Death Ward.
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
one
what does that
HP.
do? So I've got 1 HP.
Yeah.
Great. That's what I need right now.
No.
That was, I think, the biggest roll I've ever done, and oh man, that just turned this fight on its head.
Are you gutted that you didn't actually knock any of us down with that?
Thank you, Death Ward.
Red, your turn.
Before the end of my turn, I'd like to yell, "Where's the dagger?"
Red will sort of pull it out of her belt.
TPK. Red, your turn. You're first. So, if you were to guess from the damage you've seen it take, about half dead.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But you're also aware that it seems to have some kind of special attack as well.
Oh. All right. I feel like running up and stabbing it with this dagger is very helpful.
It might work. You never know.
I won't do it yet. I'm gonna do. Oh, do I? You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. You know what? We're gonna go for it. Red
Charging.
is going to run up and stab this dragon in the leg, like in the ankle.
Give me an
with
attack.
this dagger. I don't know. Should I just roll a 20 or
Do your spear
Maybe-
attack. Do your spear attack.
my normal spear attack? Okay.
Spear.
But you get to plus your dexterity because it's a finesse weapon and
yeah.
dagger.
Okay, so that's a plus. It will have a +2 to it, and then I get advantage. Well, it's rubbish. It doesn't hit.
Not enough, I'm afraid.
Fuck.
Wolves.
Wolves.
You can do them separate now if you like.
Well, so that's
First
One.
one.
oh, and with advantage as well. So that's 17 for the first one.
Second one.
Second one with advantage. 14.
First one does manage to connect.
Cool.
About
I
8.
doubt it's going to be stronger than this dragon, but we'll see.
Nice, but wearing it down. But it can't drag it to the floor. It's
Cool.
too big. It's too
It's
big.
too big.
But they're biting into it from behind as well.
Yeah.
Hunter. You want to give me a
Wisdom save.
wisdom save?
of-
Was that, please? Yes, please.
It has to be 8 or over, or else I'm attacking a random person because they're all around each other. That is 13. You see Hunter's kind of eyes just look at this dragon after being hit by this cold breath. The fire is still erupts on his hands. You hear a voice. Something hits his memory, and you hear Gabriel say, "Run," as he then charges at this dragon head on.
History is repeating itself.
Yep. Leaping as high as he can.
How many characters can I kill with dragons?
How many Gabriels can you kill?
And he is going to try and attack it 3 times. But he's going to, because he's got what is it? It's something that allows him to jump higher. So he's basically going to run and
Oh,
just
a leap. Yeah, I like it. I'm all over that.
try and just jump at it, clawed by it straight in the face. Oh, yeah, I get 3 HP from being bloodied as well as I regen.
Yes, that's nearly half of what. That's nearly what you were already on.
Okay. First attack is a crit. Oh! So that is
Rubbish game. I hate this game. I'm playing this game anyway.
8 plus 5 being 13 plus 6, so 19 points of damage for the first hit. Plus do I get max damage off the fire as well?
Yeah, why not?
Yep, so that's plus 8, so that's 21 points of damage, magical fire damage. Then the second attack is a 28 for 10 points of damage, plus 8 fire damage.
Go
So
on,
that's 18
Hunter.
fire damage on top of that. And the third attack is a crit fail, but I'm going to use my reaction to get advantage because the eagle's still up.
God damn,
And
fucking
he-
eagle.
It's only a 16, sadly.
Miss, thank goodness.
And you just see him just run up and just start clawing at this dragon. There is no... He is just trying to get this thing down.
Hunter reacts so quickly that the dragon's barely brought its head back after doing the blast of ice, and Hunter's already like charging through the ice breath in the air towards and leaping towards him, almost trying to get down its throat to get it from the inside, with a perfect blow, like straight into its face, as it just was not ready to defend itself, as you hear that you strike into the bone as the whole neck snaps down to the side for a second. The claws drag on the floor, so it rips itself up, can't get its defense up as you wail in with another attack. But then the last one, it brings one of its claws across to block your blow. Bronwyn.
So she will reappear wherever she is.
You don't have much choice about reappearing on that one.
Yeah. No, it ends after one turn, so she would reappear.
Okay.
How is this dragon looking now after Gabriel's
weak.
done that?
Looks hurt. Looks real hurt. At the end of your turn, Hunter, it's going to attack you with its tail.
Okay. That hits. You see Hunter fly.
9
no,
points of
but
damage.
I've got Death Ward. He's still standing.
Good old Death Ward.
Gone.
How do you get Death Ward? What's that from?
Cool gave it to us.
Cool gave it to us.
Yeah.
Me and Hunter.
It lasted 12 hours.
The right
Yeah.
people.
Well done, Jakul.
He
You can tell
chose
who's
correctly.
most likely to get absolutely
Oh, that's the wrong way.
knocked into the fucking floor.
So you're on 1 hit point?
I'm on 1 hit point. Hang on a minute. I don't know why, but it healed
Minus
it.
14.
Damage. There you go. Yeah, I'm on 1 hit point.
The tail
You see him take
spins
it, slides and
round.
gets up.
Jakul, MVP at the moment.
We're going to buy Jakul some nice presents when we get back.
Bronwyn is in considerable pain from everywhere. She will take 2 of her very big boy special best arrows, and she's going to throw everything at these. So Hunter's Prey, Sharpshooter, the works with the special arrows.
No pressure.
And you
No
get
pressure.
advantage from the eagle.
Okay.
Only once though, using your reaction.
No pressure. Because if you don't kill this,
First attack is
Chances are it can-
19 to hit.
that's a
No,
hit on the
21.
ranged.
21, sorry,
That's a
because
hit.
it's +2. And the second one would be... that probably won't be. That'll be 13.
Want to use your advantage on that one?
Yes.
1.
That'll be 19 minus 5. It's 13 plus 15.
First one
Okay,
hit.
well, the first one. So that will be 19 plus d6. So that's 24 plus the 2 from the special arrow. So 26 damage.
He doesn't look well. You can see energy just leaking out of him, like mist leaking out of the wounds in it. Arrows sticking into him, but the dragon still stands. No pressure, Constance, but it is my go after you.
Okay. I guess it's time
I'm
for
just-
Constance's
I'm just-
big old gambit.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
So I've just got a question, a DM question first.
Yep.
So when the guy stabbed himself, what was the sort of what visually happened when he did that?
So from your point of view, from where you were charging towards him to the
Yeah, I was
side,
charging
you're trying
towards
to
him,
taunt
yeah.
him into you. So you could see again this big cut in the side of his neck where it looked like someone had just torn into him, but instead of his head hanging to the side, it was kind of held in place. And and you could see a light glow, like a mist and energy to it. And then he took the dagger and just rammed it into his own chest with a smile on his face. And you saw almost instantly the glow from the side of his neck disappear. And then he left the dagger in his chest, put his arms out, and just fell backwards, dead. And now a very similar glow to what was in his neck is now the dragon.
Sure. Okay.
And it looks beat up.
Yeah. Okay. Do I do that or do I do that?
Do what Constance do.
Constance bloody must solve every mystery. Oh God.
You got the sunblade out.
I do have the sunblade out. Okay, right. I'm gonna charge up, but next to red, as close to red as possible.
Mm-hmm. Happy with that? Yep, you run in. So you've got Hunter kind of to the northwest, and you guys sort of the northeast side of it, and then 2 wolves on its flanks biting into it as well.
Yeah. There's not enough information that she wants to say for it to be able to fit in the 6 seconds. Okay, I'm going to cast Divine Smite.
It said when you do that when you attack.
Yeah, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to attack it twice. Sorry, yeah. Okay. I'm going to attack it twice.
Fine.
15. I'm going to use my advantage.
Yep.
If it's ever going to go. Oh, that's not good.
Second attack.
Second attack is a crit.
So, and it's a paladin crit because she's going to use Divine Smite, so that's going to like.
Okay. So, do you want to calculate the damage? Because I can never do that.
The damage. Okay, so
I can do our taxes. I just can't calculate damage.
So it's D8 plus 6, so that's 14 damage, plus 3, so that's 17 damage. She also automatically gets 3d8.
Well, it's 2d8. It's 3d8 if they're undead.
Is it?
He's undead.
So that is 3d8 radiant. That is maxed as well. So that is 8, 16,
24.
24.
Plus 7 plus.
Do you
24 plus 6 is 30, 38. 41 damage of sun damage. And radiant damage.
Ooh. Second. You come charging in, Constance. The dragon draws back, prepares to launch itself forwards. Can't tell who it's planning to attack. As it comes leaping forwards, you come in, sword up, strike through as it's jumping, as the sword slices through and it pushes itself deeper across the sword as it's trying to get to Bronwyn to finish her off at the back. And as it does, it flies forwards, and the body just starts to deteriorate and explode into mist, and then it's just a full-on bank of mist. But the skull doesn't, as it just slides across the floor and gently comes to a rest.
Oh, done, Constance.
Thank you, Constance. Squeaky bum time.
Whose turn is
Proper
it?
squeaky bum.
That's the end of combat.
Maybe not.
Shiza.
Maybe not.
So whose turn is
Red,
it?
it's your turn.
Red, having seen Bronwyn, because she was in her line of sight, take a fucking massive hit that should have killed her, is going to run over and is going to cast Cure Wounds on that poor thing, because she should be dead right now.
Hunter,
Legit should be
please.
dead. So I'm going to cast Cure Wounds at a higher level. That's 25 points
Oh,
of
thank you
healing.
very much.
Hunter, can you give me is it a wisdom save?
Wisdom save of 8.
Wait a second.
You dickhead.
Do it.
10.
Oh, god damn.
He's still angry until like you just see him just like panting, and he's just like eyeing all three of you, just like he's still in a like kind of in a stance like, if any of you go for me, I'm going to rip your throats out.
Bronwyn doesn't look like she's going to be going for anyone for quite some time.
Whose turn is it now? This will keep happening until I get to 46 hit points. I'm currently
You're regenerating them, aren't you?
Yeah, but I get only 3 hit points per regeneration.
We could be here a while if we don't heal him.
Bronwyn next, your turn. Unless you don't want to do anything. You're in Control Hunter.
Yeah, but I have to do it every turn.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning of your turn, you have 46 or fewer hit points. You make a DC save, throw, or else move directly towards the nearest creature and use an attack action.
Bronwyn, your turn.
How obvious is
You
it?
are very obvious for you. Very obvious. You've seen him
situation?
attack his own team
That's
as well
true.
before. Finish him off. That's my advice. Finish him off.
Oh, she'd think about it. She would definitely think about it.
You
but
just saw
no.
him jump into a dragon's mouth trying to save you and told you to run.
But we didn't this time. We stayed with him this time.
She will go over to him, grab him, and because she can do cure wounds as well. Do as big a spell as she can get on that, which is 24.
Oh, big heal. Is that enough?
No,
not by a long shot.
I'm on 28. I need to be over 46.
Okay, I'll do the same.
Constance.
Like a little tap on the face. I like that you could theoretically hit somebody and cause bludgeoning damage while also, whatever. Mine's 1d8 plus my spellcasting ability.
You don't know you lay on hands.
Cure wounds.
Oh.
I am out of lay on hands.
Give me a cure wounds, please.
What is it?
1d8 plus my spellcasting, which I think is 5. I want to say.
I think it is.
It is 6.
Oh, it's gone up.
So 12. Oh,
Nearly.
nearly.
Okay. Red.
Seeing everyone else also putting healing into Hunter, she will also sort of be like, I kind of feel like I should be doing the same. Okay.
This is what we do now.
That's 19 points of healing.
Yeah,
Lovely.
cool. Yeah, he's
Nice.
you see the kind of the fire subside from his claws, and his eyes kind of come more back to like the usual kind of eyes that he has.
Red, can I see
Yeah.
the dagger?
Warning, it is not pleasant to touch. And she'll hold it out.
I'll take it and cast Divine Sense on it.
Definitely evil.
Definitely evil. Okay.
Definitely.
Do I hear the screams?
You do indeed.
I think this is what's holding them.
Do you think remove curse would help?
Is this anything that Bronwyn would likely have seen before, Adam? No, okay.
Red will try and communicate with Karvan again if she can. She's going to sit down and actually properly concentrate on it.
He sounds out of breath, tired. Strider,
I'm here,
these
Karvan.
years. Still, I'm not ready to go.
We all have to go sometime.
Last act.
How do we free them?
Don't think we can. One last act for my people. Destroy the dagger. Do not be tempted by it. Destroy it with the spear. I will put everything I've got into one last act.
All right. Red will stand up and ask Constance for the dagger again. I know what I need to do.
I hand it back.
Red will place it. There's the altar, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
She'll place it on the altar and she'll stand on the altar and pull out the spear. And for the first time, she is going to tap into the barbaric energy that Karvan imbued her with. So all that rage that she's been feeling, all the death that she's seen, all the confusion, and she'll pull back that spear and with a bestial roar will slam it into the blade as hard as she can.
Those watching would see the mist. Who saw Karvan? You did, didn't you?
Before Bronwyn's time.
Gabriel did.
Has slight memories.
Yeah,
of
you
the
would
name,
see.
but
You'd see the
doesn't
mist
remember.
kind of knit around Red, bigger and stronger, forming the shape of this huge, hulking, muscular male. As his hands strike down, as Red's hands strike down, smashes into dagger. The blade shatters into pieces. You can see this kind of misty gem towards the hilt is still intact, but the blade is broken. Hear a voice, Red. One.
She'll pull the spear back again. And
those watching would see the shape of this man around Red just dissipates to the mist on the mountaintop. The spear burns in your hand with power now. It feels stronger than it was before.
Mm.
But no longer can you hear the voice, Karvan. The spear now has +3 to hit and +3 to damage.
Nice.
Top of what?
Spicy.
Okay.
And from looking at the altar, anyone would think that the gem is more than just a gem. Was in the hilt of the dagger.
Do we bury this as he kind of points to the broken dagger?
Sorry, what was that?
Should we bury this as he points to the dagger? The broken dagger.
I think
You're sure it's been destroyed, the power, Red?
Red will pick up we'll pick up the shards, including the gemstone, and we'll try and sort of feel if there's still that presence
You can't hear those screams.
They're free. I think we need to destroy it permanently.
Wrap it. We'll burn it in the blacksmiths. We'll melt it down.
I can try and do it now. And Red will cast heat metal on it. And
On the shards?
On all of it.
The gem included or not?
The gem included.
So the blade will melt now, but the gem no.
Okay. So if I just did a normal heat metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the gem won't. So
There's white hot and red hot, and there's like it's a deep green with like a black mistiness to it. It's not moving, but there's like a black mistiness inside the gem. A very deep, like emeraldy green, but darker.
I think we need to keep hold of that until we can either destroy it or find out exactly.
Maybe Elian would know.
We could perhaps get Elian. And Red will we'll remove the spell, wait for it to cool down, and wrap it up in a wrap it up in a cloth and put it in her.
Yeah, you don't think the gem got that hot from the heat metal? The metal around it did, but not the gem itself.
Have any of you checked the pile of ashes from her body? Did she leave anything?
She did indeed.
I'll go over and have a look.
There's a wedding band
Uh-oh.
in there, a necklace which seems magical, and a short sword seems magical. She never drew.
Did the shaman, does he have anything on him?
Only the dagger.
Okay.
We need Elian to
Skulls
know
as
exactly
well.
what they are, but I think we take them.
And I think we found our dragon skull.
Kind of looks at the dragon skull. How are we going to take this back?
It's a big thing.
Put it on a
Strap it to a horse.
Didn't we buy an extra horse? Am I making that
No.
up, or did we? Did
No,
they
we tried
With
to
that.
negotiate for 7.
Yeah,
That
and it ended
we only
at
ended
4.
up with the
Yeah.
4.
That's fine. Put him on my horse.
It would be a job, but you reckon you could find some way to
We have-
I won't bore you with that technically.
There
It'll just
are
take you a
ways.
while. Yeah,
We
just be
talked
slow.
before, you know,
suppose if it went
run
on
into a
Red's
horse.
horse.
We've got Hadron. Like, there's various ways that we can deal with an out-on horse here.
And
Red could ride
you've
with one
got
of
2
us.
dire wolves with you still. I don't know how long they last, Red.
Yeah.
Hunter is stood looking over out from this high point across Barovia.
Sun beginning to set now. So the temperature is starting to drop. Top of the mountain.
Is there any caves up here?
Yeah.
Up
Went
at the
past
top.
some,
At
didn't
the
we?
top.
Yeah.
I feel we may have the camp here this evening.
We are in no state to take on the gargoyle that we will have to deal with on the way back.
You're right. Rest here. We can make a
I will
fire.
go find firewood and food if I can.
Thank you, Hunter.
Bronwyn is completely like shaken by the events of today. Like, she prides herself on being good at this sort of stuff, and all she has done today is seemingly get herself in trouble.
When the dragon was forming and you hit it for like 45 damage,
Yeah.
it's unreal. It's like, oh my days.
So you can probably tell that she's like having a bit of a crisis of confidence in her own head.
All those hundreds of souls, they're now free. Karvan as well.
I guess Gabriel's wasn't there, was it?
Could not hear him. I believe these were just the souls of the mountain folk that had once lived in Barovia.
Where do they go if not to him?
Somewhere else. Perhaps where Barovian souls are supposed to go. Perhaps this means that these souls will be able to be reborn. That's what they believe here.
We're going to have a lot of fighty children in Kresk in the next years.
Or perhaps it will mean that there will be fewer drab children this time.
No one's mentioned the word drab around
Oh yeah, no.
Hunter, have they?
No,
So
or Bronwyn. Yeah, no, we wouldn't.
with that word hitting Hunter's mind is an image flashed again of the baby in the crib with a raven looking over it. And as he kind of looks down and pulls it over, it seems that it is lifeless and has no joy until it looks on the raven and begins to laugh. And then he comes back into your world. Did Gabriel have a child?
You mentioned a daughter.
Taken by the Raven Queen, I think. His god. His patron.
I think patron was the word he used. He always used to say that she was safe there.
And that she didn't laugh until she went there.
And these drabs you speak of, are they people without laughter and joy.
Without souls, yes. They can function and they can eat and breathe and drink. They drink a lot.
There were some in Kresk, I think, before I met you.
Probably.
I've
People
met
here
some
treat
people
them-
like that.
People here treat them very poorly.
But there is no drabs in your world where you come from. Just
No.
here.
I'm not
You
that I
gave the
know.
rewards from your world? From your lands?
That's where we met him.
Yeah. But I think his mother was Vistani.
I think. I remember him saying he had Vistani blood.
Never met the man.
But he lived, I believe, in our world.
I think his daughter was born a drab.
Perhaps.
I think this is the image of the girl that I keep seeing. A memory that is definitely lodged deep in me.
I'm surprised that you still have some of his memories.
They come and they go. They seem to protect me sometimes. I felt as he kind of points to the ash that's floating off the mountain. She tried to cast a spell on me, and instead of it taking over, I saw the smiles of a young girl, happy, wearing a black dress with raven wings. I need to free all these people's souls.
That's what we're here for. Well, at least that's what we're here for now.
There's a slight bewilderment to kind of his act now. Hunter seems to be enjoying the height and be able to look over everything and seeing what his land is. And then he kind of heads down the mountain looking for wood and food. The Wanderer feature allows me to find food and fresh water for myself and 5 other people each day, and the small berries, etc.
And that's where we'll leave it.
Woo!
Small berries.
Yay!
Berries.
Strawberry.
Oh boy.
How close were people to being dead?
Just
Well, you got me to
I was
one. Thankfully,
I
Death
was one
Ward.
death ward away.
Death Ward.
I was still 35 hit points because I hadn't taken a hit.
Red's a hit point
21.
queen. Red is tanky.
Yeah, that's probably the lowest Constance ever been.
Red
No,
is
that-
now-
These
Red's
are my
got
awkward
yeah.
80
before.
hit points as standard, but I think it's just because I'm not the target usually. Because she just stands at the back going,
Here's some med.
here's the man.
Really enjoyed my hits today.
There were some big ones.
My dice rolls were like, ugh.
Well, you got the vampire down to 19 on her turn, and that if she's in sunlight, she takes 20 damage.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if she's in start of her turn, if in sunlight, 20 damage. So
Wow.
start of her turn, instant, boop, gone.
Nice.
Well
And then
done,
she-
Constance.
Otherwise, she could have tried to charm you, Constance,
Oh,
and it would have been throw the sword.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I didn't want to reveal it until
Yeah.
like she
That
was
would have changed everything. Like that, if you wouldn't have hit her quite as hard as you did, Johnny, if she could have survived and got like a DC, I think it's 17 wisdom on Constance, and just been command throw the sword off the side of a mountain, that probably would have been that sword gone.
Oh god.
But just got her low enough that as soon as her turn started, she got beaten up by it. So close. That would have been a good death for
Like,
her.
part
She
of
wouldn't
me
have
was
cared.
curious as to what she would have wanted as part of the parlay, but also I was like, we came here to kill her.
Yeah.
We came
Yeah.
here to free her from her curse.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine going back to Jakul and Elian? Yeah, we talked to her and then
Spoke to her.
decided
Very pleasant.
we turned around and we came back again.
Turns out we're going to go to Strahd's wedding and we're going to have a lovely time.
Yeah.
You chose the hardest possible option,
Yeah.
which was to fight both parties.
And
So the way I kind
Okay.
of wrote it was to either team up with her, team up with him, or to fight both and get the skull.
right.
You said the word skull and we all
Yeah.
went,
We heard Dragon Skull. We're like,
I thought that was what was going to happen.
The druid, was she keeping him in some sort of like undeath state so she could keep draining him?
No, she was trying to kill him again.
She was trying to kill him to end him permanently. He was the one keeping... Sorry, bit of metagaming. He was the one keeping himself alive with the dagger.
Yeah.
But you will never know what the dagger did. It was a cool magic item, but yeah.
we're not using souls.
It was
for
evil.
Magic.
Yeah, so he...
Evil
Also, out of curiosity, what
Is
did
it like there's a druid type that uses
Rebirth.
Yeah.
So it was
Was it barbarian?
giving him the... so druids get a way to resurrect people, and it was doing a very similar ability to that. So if you put the skeleton of something else near it, and you kill someone with that dagger, then their spirit can go into the other thing.
A soul dagger.
Soul dagger.
Soul
dagger.
Soul dagger, but then he could also use the souls
To empower him as
absorb-
well, and to protect himself.
Yeah.
Which
That's
then
what I
meant that he could go into the dragon and then use the souls to basically build a body
It's
around
the
it.
same kind of skill that Karvan had, because Karvan put souls to defend you.
He did indeed,
Yeah.
but Karvan did it nicely, and the shaman did it against their will.
Yeah.
I'm glad some people remembered something.
That's cool.
doesn't think
That was really nice. That was like a really nice end to that bit.
Mm.
That was
Oh,
Should we? Anyone in chat while we're chatting, if you want to give someone a negative
Or positive.
Or
Or
positive.
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 It can be. We're going to do, since we're getting towards the end, it can be a very specific negative as well, if you like.
It's like a trap or a bouquet.
Oh yeah, that trap, that could have been deadly.
She's dead. You can't give
She's
Strahd's wife
dead.
a positive.
He's got multiple.
He's got multiple. I'm happy with that. I'm happy
No.
for a positive.
Aaron didn't press F.
He did not press F. Ha!
Aaron knows that I'm going to pick him.
Qualified.
Okay, I'll pick Matt, and Aaron. And I'll pick
Matt's
myself.
saying positive to Hunter.
Oh, cheers, Matt.
I
That was,
rolled
and
badly.
again, if you hadn't dropped, so the dragon had 34 hit points left when you attacked it, Constance. So it wasn't a given that you would drop it, and if it got another turn, it would have had a bite and 2 claw attacks. So it probably would have dropped somebody.
It was honestly a toss-up between attacking or trying to remove the curse from the dagger, which in hindsight wouldn't have done fuck all. So I'm always like, I must find the solution that isn't fighting.
Yeah. Well, I thought the same. I was like, do we stab it with the dagger?
was,
Like,
I
the
mean-
soul goes back into it?
I messed up a little bit by having Karvan call for aid, which then made you run ahead. I wanted you to speak to her first, and for her to try and be like, look, help me.
Karvan is my dude. I'm not gonna.
I don't think you ever would have sided with him.
I'm not
I
gonna
would
do
have
him like that.
I would have liked more.
He's my boy.
But
He's
it,
my
it
boy.
meant that I
I'm not
couldn't
gonna do
like
him wrong like that.
you couldn't pump her for information to try and learn what she was doing. So there were some points of information I wanted to give you, which I couldn't. Yeah, Bronwyn's still got the negative to dodging the bouquet. And now, whoever is marrying Strahd has a positive.
So thingamajig.
So, what you're saying is if
Agreed.
Bronwyn engineers a way to marry Strahd, she can counter these out.
Nice.
This seems a good enough reason to me.
Is it worth it?
But
I mean-
I think you might have got some good wedding gifts here as well.
True.
Here's a wedding gift for you: your dead wife's wedding ring.
Surprise! I wonder how long he'll take to actually notice she's gone. Because there's lots of other wives, and this is clearly a wife who likes to go travelling a lot. So
Probably
how long is it going to take to be like, oh yeah, where is she?
So, because we missed the episode where you guys were talking to her, what was the kind of fluff with what happened with the? Because she put somebody in a tree?
She wasn't
appeared
keen
in
on
a
Strahd
No.
getting married to Petrina.
Right.
She didn't really expand on why.
It started off because we
So-
were leaving the place. The name's gone.
I'll give you.
Lost.
I will give you a clue here to her motivation because you would have had some time to think about it.
Hmm.
What do both her and Petrina have in common?
Annoying brothers.
No.
Last of their kind.
Spellcasters.
If you were looking at on a fundamental mechanic, what are they both?
Spellcasters.
And which one's more powerful
Petrina. No.
from what you've seen? Petrina was doing big boy spells compared to what she was doing.
So she feels threatened. Yeah, we came across her because some random Vistani. Oh, bye, Georgia. Some random Vistani just appeared up the path in a carriage and chucked her out of it in a coffin.
Yeah,
And we were like, why is there a random coffin in the
you
road?
missed that part, and then you went and opened it, and that was her.
Yeah. And that was how we met her.
Funny.
Oh, where'd Georgia go?
She fell off the internet. Yeah.
Okay, so we got some. We can actually have Johnny sit forwards.
No, that's right. No, I'm in the right place.
Forward.
There we go. Look, I can have you in different screens.
Beautiful. There you are.
I'm back. I missed what you said about Strahd's wives.
We didn't really say much because as soon as he left, all our pictures got like moved around and we were just making fun.
And chaos
Basically,
ensued.
Petrina is a better spellcaster than this lady, and she was jealous.
Yeah, it was a jealousy
That's
thing, but
what
now
it-
she's dead. So
Yeah.
I had a feeling it was. I had a feeling it was going to be something as petty as I don't like
The
her.
hair.
I don't like the new one.
I don't like the new one, so I want rid.
well, none of the brides like any of the other brides because because none of them have got Strahd's heart, isn't it? So
No, because
none
the
of
only one who will have his heart is Tatiana,
yeah.
and we stopped him from having her,
No.
and
No.
we threw her soul into a lake. Well, sorry,
And
no,
Constance was like,
Constance threw her soul into a lake.
shit, she's dead. I've seen her dead.
Just-
I saw her body float to the
End a
top.
lot of our issues.
That was such a classic party moment. The gazebo.
Much as Red
fire.
liked her, pushing her into there was probably the best thing you could have done.
It's just my main
You
memory.
think
of
we
that
still
was
had to
that-
carry them to a round? Oh God!
Yeah, imagine if Ismark was still with us.
Tatiana
Oh,
was cool.
God. Tatiana was helpful.
Well, she wasn't Tatiana though, was
Really?
she? She
No,
was
Irina.
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 Irina, those two were just
Irina was pretty sound.
She was a
Ismark was a
sweetheart.
bit.
Irina
wet.
doing Red's hair was one of my favourite moments.
Yeah.
It was very cute. That's why Red liked her so much.
And then practicing with Constance and then just getting beaten up.
Can I do
She
your
should
hair?
whittling.
No.
Dude.
just
Right,
remember
so we
sitting
do
at
have a
the
game
table.
on tomorrow as well.
Yes.
Which is team combat back
I'll
in
try and pick it
Valaki.
up.
Team
and
shopping.
Team ambassadors.
Boom.
I really can't wait for the reaction when we come back with the skull being like, yeah, we need to get this over
Look
there.
what we found.
Yeah. So I
Found
did.
this on the way.
I didn't spell it out very well. So the skull being in Ravenloft was a big red herring because they'd never seen it.
Mm.
But then, because I'd only mentioned it once, super briefly, that how Karvan died
Mm.
was fighting a dragon,
Yeah.
and he
I
killed
didn't
it.
remember that.
It was
Yeah.
like it was mentioned once, and I don't think it was even mentioned to everybody. And I
Yeah.
was looking back at it like, needed to hint that had happened to where this was. Because
Yeah.
then when I put the red herring in of where they thought the skull was, that just overruled everything.
Yeah. I did not remember how Karvan died. I just knew that Strahd had a hand in it. That was it.
Yep. We were
Yeah.
defending, and then he came with a dragon, and it was too much, and they overruled the defenders, and then the girl killed the shaman.
Yeah.
Do you remember you saying that?
Mm.
Lifetime ago now.
Goodness me. That was a long session.
It's a good one. Sorry, yeah, we're well late.
No, it was great.
Yeah,
It was
I didn't
it was
know.
Good.
it was really fun, but I'm only just
Yeah.
realising now.
Yeah, bit different.
Yeah. Wow.
Let
So
let
happy
down by
that
the
binding
dice.
actually went off and
Oh,
stopped
it's
that
strong.
gargoyle.
Strong.
Yeah, that was really.
And it got him for
good.
2 rounds as well, which was enough. I think if you had to fight that gargoyle first,
Yeah.
there would
struggled.
have been some of you dead.
Yeah.
I had my what's it called? I could do a similar thing. There wasn't a spell slot, and so I had that primed and ready to go, but I was glad that I didn't have to use it.
Thank you, tree.
Oh, that poor tree. Yeah, go talk to some more trees. See how many of them want to die.
They're just literally, please kill me.
So depressing.
You're expecting this tree to be like, I would like water, please, or I would like sunlight, please.
I'm so glad someone talked to a tree.
Kill
I
me.
wasn't quite sure to begin
Kill
with
me.
how one was meant to speak to a tree, but you just talked to it apparently. So that.
Talk to the tree. Oh, right. I'm knackered.
Yeah, we're heading to the woods again tomorrow, so
Oh, fun.
When are you back?
We're
9 days there.
9 days.
Okay.
So next Thursday we will be technically in the woods.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not long till the wedding in game, is it?
2 days.
We figured we just had time, didn't we, to get here and get back again. So,
yeah. So by the time you guys run back,
We've got technically it's only taken us a day to get here, so it takes us a day to get back, so we'll still have a day.
Yeah.
Let's just
Good
get attacked by little
ourselves.
revenants and
So-
say, yay.
yeah, but then we can give them a skull and that will help.
Oh, and
Take this.
What are you thinking? Take a week off, or do you want to try and play at Karvan's or play at mine?
Try that. We could try that.
Well,
Up
it's
to you.
the
So
setup's nice here because it's all set, so we know what everything is.
Yeah.
And is the I guess after what happens with Jakul and that, the next one's going to be a nice.
this one's a biggie. I think the next one's going to be a big one, isn't it? I think the next game is Ravenloft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the start of Ravenloft, isn't it? It's where we all get back, we'll have a chat, then we send off for a few things, then we head to Ravenloft.
Yeah.
Is the next episode, really? Or depending on what happens to Jakul and.
Yes.
I'm slightly concerned whether my tech would cope with having, as much as I'd love to have you, but I'm having to sit on the router with an Ethernet cable now to make this work. So we'd all have to be basically crowded around in the same room, which is not great from a COVID point of view or a sound point of view. Or
Excuse me. I know I'm a little bit further, but you could come here. We're probably both me and Xander have had COVID,
Yeah.
I have you.
so I've got to be tested for work every 2 weeks. I was negative 6 days ago.
Yeah, so we couldn't really do that. We'll see what we can do about like maybe going to one of our mates. So
If not,
I'll have a think about whether I can
it'd
come
only
up
be
with
a
any
week
way.
off, wouldn't it? So
I mean, a
Take
week off isn't the end of the world.
We could do
maybe you
a.
guys could do something about your new game.
Very good. There's options. There's options. Cool. Cheers everyone who tuned in.
Yes, thank you.
thank you all.
Yeah, sorry we had some tech issues. I need to work out what's going on with my Tinternet. In those. Saving up for that new computer. Eventually.
Soon.
Got delayed slightly because of battery issue in the car, but hopefully and that will make it run a lot smoother because I think my computer really struggles. And then will it all be ready for a new campaign? Probably. I mean, that the damage you were able to do to that vampire was
A lot.
some chunky damage.
Yeah, we're at half strength and we managed that. So with all of us back together.
I don't know, you were missing Elian, which is like a 0.1 of a person. And I guess it is Jekyll, which is at least 2 people.
I think Elian's character is probably the strongest out of the lot of us with all the debuffs.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of misses. There was a lot of near hits, and you can just go like, nope, minus this. Very strong. Right, anyway, cheers everyone.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.